What is going on, everybody? It is episode 538 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett, and I am here once again with my co-host. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. We have good news because Brett's money gun is back in the studio, back up and running, so we should have a normal amount of money flying around the studio today. And also, we're here with a guest, as usual, Brew, Sara.
Hey guys.
Brew, Sara. Not Coffee
Lady here.
The Coffee Lady, Coffee Mommy. What else?
So many nicknames.
Coffee Mommy's good.
Racking
Coffee
them up.
Mommy's good. It's funny because
It's not, but like, go off.
I was seeing, well, yesterday we were talking about Bobies and Swifties, and they were talking about there's no Bobie AI art because of the Taylor Swift AI art thing, but there is because there was AI Lauren Boebert muscle mommy photos that were going around months ago. She didn't get bills named after her or White House intervention.
Right. Why
Did she complain?
No, I don't think she complained.
She probably
just remember,
was happy
guys,
about it.
If anything in your life, if anything awful happens to you, just make sure that it also happens to Taylor Swift, just in case you want the government to do something about it.
Well, it happened to AOC as well, who I think would definitely be one of the people to complain about it. Because this is what she always accuses her ideological opponents of being sexually attracted to her and frustrated about it. She's like, just because you can't date me.
I did see a picture last night on X, and it was it said which way Western men, and it was goth AOC or blonde AOC. Mm-hmm. Blonde AOC all the way. Goth AOC wasn't hitting.
It wasn't hitting.
No,
right?
it wasn't hitting. Right. No, yeah. Maybe I'll find it later and send it to you.
I don't want to look at that. Oh.
Guys, they just got Chaircast. They just saw empty chair.
And
guys,
we also have Chair on the show today.
Chair is here
Say
to
hello,
join us.
Chair. Yes.
We got a bunch of stuff to talk about today, ladies and gentlemen. A bunch of stuff to get into. But before we do, would you hit the like button on this video and subscribe to this channel? If you have not subscribed here already, we are working our way to 100,000 subscribers. We're getting closer each and every day, so thank you very much. I did decide that one of the things I want to do on the $100,000 episode is
100,000 subscribers, not dollars.
Ooh, that'd be nice. I found this amazing article about DEI terminology and how all the words you can replace for other words. Mm-hmm. And I want to go through it with you because there are ones on there that you definitely wouldn't expect. Yeah. So it'll be a lot of fun.
No spoilers, but the list is actually crazy.
Yes, I felt like I was losing my mind last night when I was talking about it.
What is it?
It's
like
a list
phrases that you can't say anymore because they have problematic origins. Let me give you just one example as a teaser. Hip hip hooray.
Can't say hip hip hooray anymore.
It's offensive.
It's anti-Semitic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'll take your word for it.
Yep. So guys, we're working our way to 100,000 subscribers. We're very excited about that. So please go ahead and subscribe and share these videos with your friends so that more people can come in here and hang out and watch the show and share the video with their friends. Also remember, all super chats $20 and over, we will interrupt those discussions. We will read those super chats right then and there, and then we will do our best to get back on topic. Now I know I'm scatterbrained, but Mary's usually pretty well organized, so we can find our way back to our topics.
Yes. Am I the secretary?
You're better organized. You're better at getting on topic than I am, that's for sure. So what are we going to talk about today? Well, first things first is Elmo decided to reach out to everyone in the world the other day on X, and he asked everyone, how's it going? And the world just decided to give the most vicious trauma dump you've ever seen in your entire life. It basically devolved into a creative writing assignment where everyone talked about all of the evils and awfuls that are going on in their worlds. So we're going to talk about that. There's also some coinciding cringe with that related to Joe Biden. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Jake Gyllenhaal, who had an absolute meltdown on a movie set so bad that the movie got canceled and is not coming out anymore. I thought it was interesting because I used to have this problem where I would mix up Ryan Gosling and Jake Gyllenhaal all the time. Mm-hmm. Now because of Barbie, I can tell them.
That doesn't make sense to me though.
They're both they're very pretty.
They're both just like.
But Jake Gyllenhaal has more of the crazy eyes look.
He does.
Yeah.
Ryan Gosling is more conventional.
He does. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna talk about that. We are also gonna talk about another one of the myriad of ways in which women try to sabotage their relationships on TikTok. In this case, if you remember the orange peel test, we are now going to talk about that in conjunction with the ketchup test.
Did you guys talk about the orange peel test test?
Nope.
Okay, we're gonna go over that too then.
Yep, we're gonna talk about
I had
orange
never heard
peel
of that
theory,
before.
and we're gonna talk about the ketchup test because women just can't leave well enough alone. They got something good going for them. They're like, what can I do to sabotage this today and do it for social media clout? So we'll talk about it. We're also gonna talk about how men can sabotage themselves because AI girlfriends are here, ladies and gentlemen, and you men you won't need a live breathing woman anymore because you can just get this AI girlfriend that you can bring home.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, no more woke agenda.
That's literally what it says in
Just
that.
a sex doll.
Yep. So we got that. We got a bunch of other stuff. We're really glad that you guys are all here. So if you guys are ready, we can just get started. Mary, are you ready?
We are ready.
Sarah, are you ready?
I am ready.
Kind of
ready.
spoke for you there.
She's like, we're ready, and that's it. All right, so fantastic news. Yesterday, we mentioned that Britney Spears was like, oh, psych, just kidding. I'm okay with Justin Timberlake. Well, today she's back in the news because she's got new music coming out.
Yes, she's announced a new project titled Sex and Diamonds,
least
dropping soon.
Should have been Sex and Knives.
And with it, she posted this cryptic video of her dancing in her living room once again with very little clothing on. And that's her teaser for it. That's the promo.
Let's watch the video. She's so above us intellectually and spiritually that she's filming it with like a tripod in front of the camera. I don't even know how that's possible.
Yeah.
It's like it's behind the ring light and not on the
Yeah.
thing it's supposed to be on.
Right.
That's
very
amazing.
confusing.
I'm muting this just in case we get secondhand copyright.
Okay. She does something I hate in this video where she smacks her own ass. Why? Why? I hate when she does that.
Sam
It
Asghari
is
isn't
super
there anymore
cringe.
to help.
Yeah.
So that's the teaser for her new Sex and Diamonds.
And this is after she already announced she is done with the music industry. She is not going to be making any new music.
That's
and
what I
suddenly
thought.
this is announced.
It's almost like she's crazy.
It's almost like she doesn't know what she's saying. She doesn't know what she's doing. And she should have never been given full autonomy in the first place.
I think what she should have done is started like a Cutco knife company. I think if she had started a knife company and like a ring light company, that would like, or maybe do
Get
like
a prop knife
a dance-
sponsorship.
yeah, or a dance video, like like one of those like how to do a dance things.
Yeah,
like,
she needs to lean into it.
Yeah, I think she's just meme the hell out of it.
Just take away this woman's internet access for life.
Leave her
in my
be.
opinion.
Leave her
Put
be.
away, send her
It's
to her
ironic
room.
because the conservatorship is the reason why she's crazy, but now she's crazy and in need of a conservatorship.
Nah, somebody says she's on the path of Madonna. No, she's way better than Madonna.
I was actually just thinking that.
She's way better than Madonna.
No, she's going to be Madonna in 10, 20 years.
No, she's already like way crazier than Madonna is. I think Madonna
cringe
still has
level.
her wits about her to
Yeah,
a degree.
yep.
Britney
Yeah,
still
yeah.
looks.
Britney is
good.
totally gone. At least she looks good for her age and everything, but I don't think that this woman should have a social media
Brett, which one are
profile.
you marrying? Britney Spears or Madonna? If you had to choose.
Well,
Britney?
because
But Britney is gonna abuse you.
let's go.
She's gonna
That's
like
why.
wake
Joke's
you up
on
in
you.
the middle of the night,
Joke's
punching
on
you in
I'm
the
into that
face.
shit. Okay.
She's like, Brett, look at this new trick I learned.
Yes.
Chuckling that.
Like, well, that's like what it is I'll just wear I'll just get a hazmat suit like whenever she's like dancing or like some type of like fabric that will repel will like make the knives.
Okay, one of those like 15th century
Yes,
like,
jousting armor.
You're just
Jousting
gonna have to
armor.
wear armor 24/7,
yeah.
but it'll be worth it, right?
I'm okay with that. And look, it'll be a lot of fun. It'll be a lot of fun. Lots of music playing all the time.
Strictly based on looks.
Well, no, she's Britney Spears.
And that alimony after the fact.
Let's go.
Ooh,
Yeah,
cha-ching.
I'm taking home a chunk of change.
Yeah.
Afterwards,
Yeah,
it'll
worth
be
it,
great.
worth
And I guess I would have to do the driving because she seems to get tickets all the time and she's not really a good driver.
to cry at the
she needs
drive-thru.
Yeah, she needs a driver. So I can
Yeah.
I can do that for her. I can fix her, guys. I can fix her.
I can save her.
Save her. My new favorite one of that one is like now it seems like every other week there's a picture of some woman's mugshot going viral of just like a normal looking woman, and the libertarian one was like woman arrested for beating up IRS agents yelling
Oh my
"End the
goodness.
Fed." I have no idea if that
There's
was
no
actually
way that
real
that's
or not.
true.
Yeah.
But the point is like it shows that picture and then it's the clip from the Lego movie. It says "I just died in your arms tonight." Plays as it zooms in. It's like. Yeah. Britney all the way. Definitely more than Madonna, because Madonna might try to sacrifice me to like some type of
To
weird
Moloch.
pagan
Yeah.
god. Yeah, not good. All right, guys. So be on the lookout for that. Technically, does it even mean music? It says new project. What if it's not music?
Could be
the
a
Rose
documentary
Project.
or something. I don't know.
All right, let's move on. So, if you guys use TikTok, and I'm guessing most of the people watching this on this channel aren't using TikTok on a regular basis, well, there's going to be some big changes coming because Universal Music Group is reportedly pulling their music catalog from TikTok. That includes Drake, Taylor Swift, The Weeknd, Ariana Grande, and more. Like, that's a lot of artists that are very much TikTok
That's
popular.
starting today. Also, SZA,
Starting
Olivia
tomorrow, I believe.
Rodrigo, Adele, Selena Gomez, Billie Eilish, Lady Gaga, Harry Styles. This is all the stuff that Gen Z is using for sounds on TikTok that are going viral. The issue is they're constantly getting remixed. They're made like the slow version, the sped up version, the reverb version, all of these things that are not making the music label any profit, which is why they are angry.
There are plenty of reverb versions of songs that are actually better than their
Yeah.
original.
Yeah, but then it ends up sounding nothing like the original. And this is what's circulating on the For You page.
My new favorite thing is this guy. He takes music videos and then he just strips it of all its sound. He's like, this is what it sound like if it was just them. Actually
Just
talking.
the breathing and
it's-
like
yeah.
the mouth saliva sounds.
Basically, he does this one of like a Jonas Brothers song where I don't know, I don't remember which song it is, but they're like on a beach and it's them trying to sing and they're overpowered by the sound of waves.
and like seagulls.
And they're not singing really, really well because a lot of the sound effects that are put into the song don't translate to somebody actually physically doing it. So it's like, ah! it's really great.
There's there's sand in my mouth.
Yes, basically. It's really, really good. So yeah, basically they're not happy with it. And I do love the lie that they're saying like our mission is to help our artists. No, it's not.
Yeah.
No.
It's for the music label to make more money, obviously. And I mean, could this be the start of an equivalent of the Writers Guild strike, but for the music industry?
I don't think so.
No?
They seem even more enamored with their servitude than Hollywood types do. Like the Hollywood types also are like, I hate Hollywood and I hate people that have money they don't say I hate Hollywood, they say I hate the rich and I hate the mainstream, but yet they love being part of it. It's really, really weird how they feel this kind of like dedication to this cause that they hate. So within music, I feel like that's even stronger. Like a lot of them are very scared to go off and do it independently because it's very hard to make it on your own as an independent artist.
But
just
look,
ask any SoundCloud rapper.
If you are any one of these high-profile artists like a Selena Gomez or Taylor Swift or Nicki Minaj, you don't need the power of a music label anymore. You can do it all independently, but you're choosing not to because that offloads the labor from you.
Yeah.
But like even when they start an independent label, then pride themselves on doing that, like Megan Thee Stallion with Hot Girl
Mary, I said,
Productions.
there's no way she owns it out.
It's an imprint of a larger establishment label.
Yeah.
So it seems like even in this digital age, when you have the most control you could possibly have over your own career, they don't want to take that control.
All of it is becoming a thing now where everyone has to do more than one thing. This is why all of the most, well, it's like when we talk about the women who go to OnlyFans and realize that they're not going to actually make any money. You have to come from another platform. You have to have a built-in audience to begin with, which is why so many that come from Twitch do it, because they're trying to transfer their audience from one platform to another. So to be successful, you can't just do one thing anymore, it seems like.
Yeah.
Like not on your own. If you want to be successful without the help of the machine, you need to be able to do more than one thing.
Who are some people who have started independent music labels that have been successful?
I mean, Tom McDonald does all his own stuff. Like
Okay.
he doesn't have a label, but he does all his own. Or I guess he does, because I guess Hangover Gang would technically be considered a label, but he does all his own stuff. And then there are artists that do that, but for the most part, if you're talking about people getting radio play, that's not
Right,
happening.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah. So just be on the lookout. I'm guessing this won't affect too many of our audience. I'm guessing there aren't a lot of people watching this show that are scrolling TikTok mindlessly.
I would hope not.
I wouldn't assume that. It's a multi-generational platform. Like when I meet normies and I ask them if they're like on any social media, they usually say it's just TikTok, that they don't even post on it. They just scroll.
Horrible. Is there a platform, like if they had to get rid of all of them and you could only keep one, which one would you keep?
Me? Twitter.
Yeah. Twitter?
Yeah.
Keep Twitter?
For sure.
Sarah?
I guess Twitter.
I mean, YouTube doesn't count because I don't post on YouTube. I just watch.
Yeah. Well, technically, YouTube is like that's an argument people have. Like they call it a social media platform. Like, is it really? I guess you can comment on stuff, so I guess it technically is. But I don't think people think of it when they list off social media platforms. They list, I'd bring back Periscope if I could.
Periscope,
I would.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what.
Back in the day.
Or pretty much any of those. I guess I'd have to keep Instagram because of skating. I don't really.
Yeah.
I like literally somebody today left. I think Bucky Ducky left a comment on something that I posted today about the Argyle budget being $200 million. And the opening weekend's expected to make like 20 million. And I was like, that's ridiculous. And he's like, it's funny. I logged into Twitter today and you're over here saying, this is a thing I might watch in opinion. And Mary's over here fighting a holy war. So Twitter's just not really for me. I don't.
What do you mean a holy war?
I have no idea. Were you posting about religion?
This morning?
Today?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
But that was one time.
The point is that like I literally have nothing interesting to say on Twitter.
It's very presumptuous to post things on social media because you're are essentially saying like what I have to say is important.
Yes.
I think I only like Twitter because I run the business Twitter.
Yeah.
I don't actually really post myself. I don't spend enough time keeping up with the times to be able to post something that would be relevant.
Yeah.
So I like Twitter because I can just repost.
Yeah.
When we get tagged versus Instagram, I have to like actually come up with something and write a caption and yada yada.
It's so much work.
It's so much work.
So much work. Yeah, I use Instagram for skating, but that's very different. That's a completely different mindset and they don't cross over at all. Like I don't post anything about the show or anything on the Instagram. It might as well be separate universes entirely. Plus, Instagram is where I get to post all of the awful memes that people make, which is what I love.
Didn't OnlyFans reach out to you like when it was just new to do a skating page?
They want
a skating page.
Mental health.
You mean a skating page where you're not wearing any clothing while skating?
Just the
There's
blades.
Enough.
The blades.
I'm not going to look.
Brett, just the blades.
The blades stay on.
I would have to charge so much to give much like Aaron Moriarty. I'm not giving other people the privilege of that platform. They don't have the privilege of seeing that from me or the horror.
They don't deserve it.
But no, they had, because they were trying to do stuff other than OnlyFans at that time.
Right, other than nudity.
Like other than
Remember when they like announced we're not going to allow porn on the platform anymore for like 24 hours and they were like, never mind.
We lied.
Our platform
I think that had to do with like investment capital and stuff like that.
Yes, it did.
So all right, we got a lot of Star Trek fans in the chat, I am sure. William Shatner giving Captain Kirk the right to AI. They want Captain Kirk to go AI after he passes on.
When asked if he'd be willing to allow AI to bring back Captain Kirk, he remarked, "It's an interesting question. The strike was all about getting permission to do that." He said that while he didn't want AI to regenerate his image while he was alive, he would advise his family to agree to an AI deal after he died. Quote, "If I'm dead and they ask my family and they're going to pay my family very well to sound like me, I would advise them to say yes."
Make the money, just like
I think it's a bad idea.
Just like Bruce Willis did with all the stuff that he did before he got sick.
I think it's a bad idea just because, you don't understand the consequences of it. And by the time you are dead, it's going to be too late.
Yeah.
They're going to start making like Captain Kirk deepfake porn. It's just, regardless of whether your family is making money off of it, I would say it's not worth the trade-off.
Well, he lists mostly his voice. He's not really...
He's saying, yes, to sound like me. So if it's just your voice, sure, but then they could make you say anything. Mm-hmm. And who is to say hundreds of years from now what we will know is truly his voice?
Why would
or
it
not
be just his voice? I would assume they're going to use his image too.
Probably probably maybe if they're doing cartoons and stuff like that. But also remember, James Earl Jones sold his voice to Disney for
Oh, it's like selling your soul.
Well, for
it is.
to be able to continue to do Darth Vader, but also
Darth Vader.
We're off to a great start.
In the Star Wars universe.
It's like when they talk about they can't say the word figure. They say figure. The point is, he sold his voice to Disney so that they could continue to make Darth Vader stuff after the
Darth
fact.
Vader.
Darth Vader. Video.
They could give James Earl Jones a lisp and he would have no control over it. I would never give someone that power. I would never give a corporation like Disney that power. And then once Apple buys Disney, it's over. It's over.
It's over. I can't wait. I'm going to sound like Mike Tyson by the end of the show. It's going to be fantastic. So yeah, he's like 100 now. He's 92.
William Shatner?
Yeah.
Love him, but he did not age well.
He's 92.
Sorry, I know it's a
What?
It's such a twink death, am I right?
He's 92. What are you talking about? How are you supposed to look at 92?
92 and still doing press like that. This is crazy.
So he says Darth Lisp. Yes. Lisp. Luke, I'm your father.
Do you think Mike Tyson had to get jacked so people would stop making fun of his lisp?
No, I think he was always jacked, and then it just prevented him from getting beaten up about it.
Yeah, when he was 14, he was the size of like a 25-year-old, wasn't he?
He was.
He's just built different.
Yeah, he was. Have you ever seen that video of the guy like who squeezes the egg in his arm and says, "I'm built different"? So he's like trying to flex to crush an egg, but he really just closes his arm on the egg, and he's like, "I'm built different." So then there's all these videos of like people with like tiny arms going, "I'm built different."
He breaks a pencil. Yeah, I'm built different.
Now they're making fun of my lisp. I love it. It's
Brett doesn't have a lisp.
He's been hiding it for all this time.
I have. All right, so William Shatner, I would advise against this. I wouldn't do that. Mary, do you want to tell everybody what the hell Netflix famous is?
This is a new term, and I like it. Yep. It was Oliver Jackson Cohen. He came up with this during a recent interview. He was in the Netflix show The Haunting of Hill House, and he said he experienced becoming Netflix famous, not real famous. He basically summed up the star power that lacks any kind of actual longevity because it's always on to the next. He said, being Netflix famous, it's quite an interesting thing. You're the most famous person in the world for a while, and then the next show comes along, and that completely takes over.
Yeah.
So,
it's like, I mean, it's kind of like being social media
famous. This is the future.
Famous.
Right. Yeah.
It's not really all that much different than being social media famous.
You're like famous in certain vacuums only.
It's like, he's an actor. He's like, he's in movies. He's in Netflix movies, like, which isn't nice or fair, but you know.
Ana de Armas also said the same thing. We covered this at the time. She said, I feel like the new generations don't have the concept of a movie star because of social media. Mm-hmm. There's so much information and oversharing. The concept of a movie star is someone untouchable you only see on screen, and that mystery is gone for the most part. Yeah. And people like Ana de Armas, those A-list stars, they really aren't active on social media.
No. Well, they're the smart ones.
Yes.
They're the very, very smart ones who realize that it's a trap. We were talking the other day about which was the lady who, Daisy Ridley. She's like, oh, yeah, I haven't experienced any mean people online. I'm like, I don't think she's online that much. So she's like, all the fans have been so nice. I'm like, yeah, because you're meeting them in person.
At Star Wars Celebration, where you're guaranteed to only be meeting the Disney Star Wars shills.
Yes.
But I still appreciate her positivity.
I do too.
Her positive outlook. I think that's quite much needed.
Do the Netflix famous people have to stay on social media to be relevant? Is that what you guys are saying?
I don't know. I mean, I think that they're just trying to move on to the next movie, to the next movie, to the next movie. Mm-hmm. In the chat, PJ Edwards says, hey, Extraction was a Netflix movie. Yes, but Chris Hemsworth was a movie star before Extraction got made. And that's not like that's all Netflix does. Netflix made Red Notice. They've done tons of movies with Ryan Reynolds. They've done movies with Gal Gadot, The Rock, and all of these things. The Jennifer Lopez. All of these stars have had Netflix movies. That's not a new thing, but the TV shows, the smaller TV shows and the smaller projects, that's kind of what they mean by Netflix famous.
Well, the Stranger Things cast, after that show is over, are about to get a rude awakening. Aside from Millie Bobby Brown and Finn Wolfhard, the rest of them are probably going to struggle a little bit.
Well, the adult actors on that show were already successful. Yeah. David Arbor was already successful. Winona Ryder was already successful.
Right.
But yeah, the kids, I mean, that's hit or miss. Like, you're just not.
They're forever going to be the Stranger Things kids.
I mean, they're young. Like, what could happen is a lot of them, they might take time off and come back to acting later, and then kind of restart and have a second half of your career where people forget that. I always like that. I always like it when somebody can. It's kind of like in wrestling. Shawn Michaels basically had a part 1 and a part 2 of his career because he got injured, where he got hurt, quit for several years, and then came back in 2004 and basically had a whole second half of a storied career. I like that. I like the ability to like reinvent yourself. And there are actors that are good at that. So, we'll have to wait and see. But I don't think that being Netflix famous is a bad thing. It likely leads to good things like brand deals for them on social media.
True.
For the women, anyways.
I look at the profiles of any of these people who were on 90 Day Fiancé, and they're just making bank off of like Fashion Nova sponsorships and stuff. You're set for life after that.
Wait, how does that work? Like, you just get paid
if you're on any of these reality shows.
No, but I'm saying, how does a fashion, because it's not just provided clothes, it's actual payment.
Depends on the person.
Yeah,
but
Yeah, if it's a partnership, maybe.
Yeah.
You
Fashion
get paid
Nova,
directly.
Slim Teas, any number of things that you're willing to shill on Instagram, as long as you get that Instagram following from a reality show that you were on for one season.
Yeah.
That's what's happening with all of the Love is Blind stars.
Erin Moriarty even mentioned that when she did her like farewell, I bid you adieu to social media thing, where she basically said like it was a way to me to connect with my fans and promote products I really believe in. I'm sure you really believe in them.
Yeah.
Like I used to think that way. Like the one thing like I would always talk about is like I'm not good enough at selling something that I would not actually want to sell. Like you'd see it on my face the whole time that I'm like, I don't believe in this. Like except for like maybe go the other way, only sell things you totally don't believe in. like I still say like we did eventually, by the way guys, we did get an email at one point from Raid Shadow Legends, which is a rite of passage for anyone with a YouTube channel that covers this type of stuff.
Yep.
You're going to get a thing from Raid Shadow Legends.
I would love to shill Raid Shadow Legends. I would love to shill Raycon.
It's a yes, Raycon.
Any of these things.
Yeah, it actually
Totally.
might work for me, given how much I actually have headphones in 99% of the time. I could maybe make you believe. Like, I only listen to it in my bad ear, but trust me, they're fantastic. Actually, the other day I listened to I had music on in my actual good ear, and I was like hearing lyrics to songs that I've listened to 1,000 times. Like, oh, that's what they say. Because most of the time I'm just hearing a general idea and noise.
Yeah.
In my right ear. But yeah, like I think I'm gonna start selling like only stuff that I don't believe in. That's what I'll start shilling.
Only scams.
That's because like just the other day I was talking about like I hate the term grifter because you can't actually know what somebody actually believes. It's very hard to know what somebody actually believes. So it's a very dubious claim to make about someone.
Grifter is like, I know your intentions and I
Yeah.
know your true conscience,
Yeah.
when in reality most people have mixed motivations for the things they say and do.
It would be I guess it would be like if somebody came to Mary and like we'd like to shill this plan B. Like
Oh, I mean, yeah, that would obviously be
and Mary's
crossing a
like-
line.
and Mary's like, yes, go out and buy. He's like, did you have a rough night last night? Go out and get this Plan B pill. And then right after that, she's like, an abortion is murder. you know.
I wouldn't really be able to say I had experience using the product.
Money
so.
is money. Money is money. Money is like, look, I got to get paid for something.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
All right. All right. So beware. You probably know someone who's Netflix famous. You probably do. All right. Who remembers were you on the show when we talked about David Beckham and Victoria Beckham when she tried to tell this story that made her seem like she was like a pleb like the rest of us?
I don't think so.
Well, it was in the middle of this docu-series or something she was a part of, and she was trying to tell this story of her humble beginnings growing up in England or whatever, and David Beckham just barges in. He was like listening in on the conversation, and he barges in and he's like, be honest. Your dad had a
What did
Rolls
your dad-
Royce. What did your dad bring you to school in? A Rolls Royce. And she got called out, and everyone mocked her on social media for days for that. And now they're doing a sponsorship for Uber Eats where they made fun of that exact interaction, where
is.
she's wearing a t-shirt that says, my dad owned a Rolls Royce. So I guess good on them for being able to make fun of themselves.
That's hilarious. I want to see the original now.
It was really good.
I wonder if we can find.
It was a good moment.
Can you want to try and find it there?
Sure.
I'm gonna play the ad though. Here we go.
So David and I are going to be in a little commercial.
Be honest.
I
Be
am.
honest.
Okay, it's a big commercial.
Tell them what it's during.
David, I'm trying.
No, tell them what it's during.
Okay, it's during the big baseball game.
Super big baseball game.
Oh, was it the hockey ball?
Hockey ball. Oh, and tell them about Jessica Aniston.
Jessica Aniston is going to be in it too.
Thank you.
I sent you the link
Okay.
to the original.
Let's watch the original. The original is fantastic.
Is he still playing soccer? Or football?
I'm
as they would
assuming
call
he's
it.
retired.
I doubt
But, here we go. Hold, please. Rewind and turn it up. Oh, is it not?
We're very working class.
Be honest.
I am being honest.
What car? What did you get your dad to drive?
It depends. In the 80s, my dad had a Rolls Royce.
Then he just closed the door.
He's like, woman?
Yep.
He called her out.
He's like, just don't accept that woman's bullshit. That's what he said. Don't take it. All right, I do enjoy somebody being able to have a sense of humor about something that they've done, a mistake they made. All right, let's move on, shall we? Let's talk about Elmo. If you're wondering what I mean by that, I'm of course talking about the character. Well, Elmo made a post on Twitter the other day asking everyone, how you doing? How are things going? And the world responded with sadness and malaise. It was very, very depressing.
This is the wellness check from Elmo, your favorite Sesame
Trauma
Street
dump.
character. Elmo is just checking in. How is everyone doing? Here's the first one I saw. I lost my job. My wife left me. I'm behind on loans. I'm losing my house. I'm suffering. Another one said, I'm having a quarter-life crisis right now and I can't get my shit together to finish this last semester. I'm mentally burnt out and I have a lifetime of working to go. Elmo, I'm gonna be real, I'm at my effing limit. Me getting ready to trauma dump on Elmo.
My favorite says Elmo gonna be rich when he gets his ad revenue on Friday.
T-Pain even responded saying, I'm just looking for somebody to talk to and show me some love, if you know what I mean.
Like, when I look at this, first of all...
Florida congressman said, not well, I serve in Congress. Yeah. Rachel Zegler, she said, resisting the urge to tell Elmo that I'm kind of sad. She also said she slept with a stuffed Elmo from Sesame Place her entire childhood.
Why do you think it is that people, gravitate towards this type of content online? Because what it is, I really do believe that a lot of times when you have these viral types of stories, it just kind of devolves into creative writing assignments where everyone has to then have the most creative reply.
You have showed me some story posts from somebody you follow on Instagram that this is a daily occurrence, that this person...
He's a friend of mine.
We will not identify who it is. This person constantly posts these self-pitying, I'm depressed, LOL type of memes.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be relatable, but it's actually just kind of pathetic.
Well, it's super... to me, I just find it really, really depressing.
And depressing. And it's are you actually okay? Do you need a wellness check at your house? Or is this just jokes? I don't like that type of humor. It's very BuzzFeed millennial humor.
Yeah.
I don't get it. And trauma dumping in general, I hate that as a trend. Crying is healthy. I'm going to post videos of myself crying in my car and having a mental breakdown on TikTok because that's real. No one wants to see that.
I feel up until the early 2000s or maybe 2010s, everything always had to be so squeaky clean and positive, and you had shows like Seventh Heaven on TV, right?
I
think this is just a reaction to all that.
Yeah.
Seventh Heaven?
Yeah. I
love that show.
It was, even for me, that was a little syrupy.
Was everything all positive sunshine and rainbows in the 2000s?
I mean, I just think that that where we're at now is we've gone so far the other direction.
Right.
Yeah.
And they think that just because it's depressing, it's real.
Yes.
Or because it's depressing, or because something is maybe
funny.
relatable, then it's funny. I don't know.
Well, I always make the same argument with movies, right? I say just because your movie is dark and gritty doesn't make it intelligent. Doesn't make it deep. Your nihilism is not inherently more intellectual than any other feeling that another person experiences.
Yeah. And also in reference to your friend, it's there's so much stuff on the internet nowadays where you could better yourself as a person instead of just posting about how depressed you are every day. So it just kind of seems it seems so attention grabby, and I think that's why it kind of rubs you the wrong way.
Yeah, it's those girls who post a picture, if they go to the hospital or something, they post a picture of their bracelet from the hospital stay.
But no context.
No context, and they're thanks everyone for checking in on me. I'm okay. Heart emoji. Stop. I'm never going to be one of those people in your DMs asking you if you're okay. Never.
Luckily, the most
Elmo
men,
will be, though.
Most men,
Elmo will ask.
most men learn early on that people don't care.
You've heard of
It's
tickle
sad
me,
but
Elmo.
true.
Now it's trauma dump on me, Elmo.
Trauma me, Elmo.
He still has a smile on.
And he followed up the post as well. Wow, Elmo is glad he asked. Elmo learned that it's important to ask a friend how they're doing. Elmo would check in again soon, friends. Elmo loves you. Hashtag emotional well-being.
It also becomes like a lightning rod for things that have nothing to do with it. People are like, well, I don't know, there's genocide going on in the world. So, and then it became about Israel-Palestine.
No.
Come on.
Like, it's crazy. And I wonder if all of it is also a big part of it is like people just, it's kind of like the phenomenon of therapy now. People feel more comfortable telling a stranger on the internet what's going on in their lives than actually telling somebody who might be able to help you in the real world. Elmo can't help you. Friends, family, people that care about you.
Elmo
whoever.
isn't your therapist.
It was a formality.
Yes. Well, no, it's like those commercials they used to have where it's. Do you remember those commercials back in like the 2000s where it was like when you ask that question, you're not actually supposed to tell them how you're doing. You're supposed to say yes. You're not supposed to overshare.
Right.
So it's like you're sitting in like a doctor's office waiting room with somebody and you're just making small talk with the person next and you're like, oh, how you doing? And they're like, bad. And then they start talking about
Oh my
all of
gosh.
the things in their lives that are wrong. And look,
I literally had that experience where I was in a waiting room and this guy starts showing me pictures of his surgery.
Yep.
I'm serious. Like, no,
It's like, I feel bad, but it's so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's so uncomfortable.
And you know it's because they probably like don't have someone to talk to. Then it's like a guilt thing. And
What we really
that makes
needed
me
for
more
this,
angry.
we needed all the haves to come in and be like, life's great right now. Chance the Rapper says, honestly, I'm in a really good place right now. I need Kim Kardashian to come in and be just like making a lot of money. Things
Being
are
a
going
billionaire.
well.
Yeah.
Like Taylor Swift's like just hit $1 billion. Everyone
Yeah.
thinks I'm controlling the White House and the Super Bowl. Life is good.
yeah,
Like
but there was
just-
none
just
of
own
that.
it. But okay, so here's the thing. I used to, for many, many years, I worked at I worked at a gas station. So I would work at a counter. And you would not believe the amount of people that just want to come in and talk about their day.
Oh, yeah, you've told me about
Yes,
this before.
the amount of people that just want to come in and kind of just dump whatever's going on in their lives on you, that never really bothered me, like in the way that it bothers some other people, as long as it's not like me having to be like, there's a line of like 30 people behind you. Can you please like...
Did they do that?
Sometimes that would happen.
Oh my goodness.
But like you'd have to...
so,
so nice.
inconsiderate.
Brett is so patient.
But,
He'll
like-
stand there and nod.
Your
We
gas
had,
station therapist.
That was me.
Yep.
I'm gonna put that in my. See, if I was clever, that would be my Twitter bio. But like, I had to. There was people like. So there was regulars who like. I don't even know how this started, and it started well before I worked there. But there was a guy who came there, and he's the nicest. He was retired, nicest gentleman you will ever meet, and he just sat at the island and drank coffee, and he didn't pay for coffee. Like, I have no idea if he just started doing that one day, but like my boss never charged him for his coffee. Therefore, I never charge him for his coffee. And we just sit there and talk about our days. And he would talk about his kids and he would
That's
talk about
sweet.
all this stuff. But he would do it every day. So it would be catching up, whatever. But the people who would come in that you don't see regularly, it's like immediately into like, oh, my day was awful. I just got out of the hospital. I got in a car accident. I'm like, bro, I got...
Yeah. And
I
you
got-
know what? Sometimes it's the people that have no one else to talk to, but sometimes these people do this to every single person that they see in that day.
Yeah.
So you can't always feel guilty. Sometimes like people just that's just their coping mechanism is to just tell everyone how awful their day was, including Elmo.
We got a $20 one here from the last of my kind. Says, Brett, have you tried bone conduction headphones? I have bilateral tinnitus and they really helped me. I lost enough hearing from drums, fire sirens, and marine artillery that I don't put buds in my ears anymore. All right. So what it is I'm 90% deaf in my right ear. I had 2 attempted eardrum reconstructions when I was very, very young. They did not work. It actually made my hearing worse. Apparently that surgery, it's like radical mastoidectomy, where they basically tried to repair the entire eardrum, is much more common now, but back then it wasn't. And it just made it worse. So when I put a headphone in my right ear, it's actually basically just playing as loud as it can and transferring, and like basically my left ear is picking it up and my right ear just feels
Through your skull.
Yes, basically through my skull. Otherwise, I can't hear anything. It plays a role. Like some days I'll oversleep because I'll just sleep on my good ear and then I don't hear shit, which is not good, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I could try that. I have like a cap that I'll put on how much I'll spend on earbuds, right? Because I basically make them last twice as long because like I only get to use one at a time. There's no reason to actually put them both in, and they end up breaking because basically the speaker will wear out from being on full volume all the time. But yeah, so a lot of people are just kind of looking for somebody to talk to, and I have no problem with that. Like if I'm at work, I'm literally trapped there. Why wouldn't I talk
You're
to you?
face to face though.
Yes.
If we're on Twitter, or if Elmo asks you how you're doing on Twitter,
he's not actually asking.
For everyone's emotional well-being, can you keep it to yourself for one moment?
Don't trauma dump on Elmo, please.
Elmo's having a rough day.
Yeah,
well, like
change
no
his name to Emo.
No one asked Elmo how he's doing.
Also, there's a reason why trauma dumping is considered a word now, because it's actually considered emotionally manipulative to trauma dump.
Yeah.
So,
just like gaslighting that gets thrown around.
Or
a lot.
love
bombing.
That's the one that makes me want to throw a stereo out a window. It does. I hate that term. Like
someone's nice to you and you're like, you're love bombing me.
Like no, basically they can demonize any type of human interaction.
Right. Yes.
So there's a $20 one here from Francisco Sanchez Jr. Says its continuing mission to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no man has gone before.
07.
Yes. And another $20 one here from Mikey says, when I worked retail, I thought it was weird to get a small amount trauma dump while helping customers. Now I'm a truck driver and I kind of get it. I think he means get it.
So you're the trauma dumper now.
Yeah.
You trauma dump now.
Look, it's I get it for most of the people, and a lot of it's like I worked at a smaller gas station that was like it was not off a main road. So most of the people who were there lived in that community, so you would see a lot of the same faces over and over again. It wasn't strangers most of the time. I would be better at remembering their stories than their names, because I'm horrible with names.
Well, Sarah, you get this. Like when you're getting your hair done or you're getting your nails done, do you like volunteer that information? Because I feel like it's sort of more expected with that. You're sitting with someone for a prolonged period of time.
Yeah. And the conversation just kind of flows after a while.
Like if I'm invited to talk, I will.
Otherwise,
but I don't volunteer information.
It's like those memes that say like, my Uber driver says nothing, me 5 stars every single time.
I'm cool with that. But also if they want to talk, I'll talk. I like when I get an Uber driver who's like a retired older person who's just like chilling and they like to chat. Like that's fun.
Yeah, like to me, like it's either or. I'm not gonna initiate like a long conversation, but if they want to, I'm not gonna be like, oh, I have to talk to this person.
We do have to mention Biden's response to Elmo.
We had a $20 one here. One more from Mike. He says, also I try not to do it. Yeah, I get you, man. Yes, this could have been cringe of the day, ladies and gentlemen. President Joe Biden has responded to Elmo, or more than likely, an intern has responded to Elmo.
Because our country is a joke.
I know how hard it is some days to sweep the clouds away and get to sunnier days. I know how hard it is. Does somebody here have a good Biden impression? Just imagine somebody really, really brain dead and being held up by amphetamines.
A literal vegetable.
A vegetable being held up by amphetamines and the Fed.
Elmo is like, how are you doing? And Biden just starts crying blood.
Our friend Elmo is right. We have to be there for each other. Offer our help to a neighbor in need, unless you're at the southern border. I added that part. And above all else, ask for help when we need it, unless it's at the southern border.
Or your name is Corn Pop.
Yeah.
He's a bad dude.
Even though it's hard, you're never alone. Again, unless you're at the southern border. So, this is the stuff where when they talk about the adults being back in charge, I laugh.
No. That's hilarious.
I laugh at stuff like this. It's all so unserious. We are an unserious country being run by unserious people.
Yeah.
Corrupt, evil, and unserious, which is maybe the worst combination of those that you could be. But I love the folksy. And then Lydia's the first response. Oh, come on!
Did you guys watch Sesame Street growing up or no?
I did.
You did?
Yeah.
I didn't, because I wasn't allowed to watch PBS.
Okay.
Here's somebody. Yep. What Joe Biden needs to do is stop talking to Sesame Street characters and close the border.
See, like now you're just being a killjoy.
We live in such a stupid time.
We do.
Having to do this and hearing all the politicians talk about Taylor Swift, and like we are so screwed.
Yeah.
It's good stuff, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, like you can thank his intern, I'm sure, for writing that.
I like the idea of Elmo just having no clue what's going on in society and just being like scarred by the response of all these people on Twitter.
It's the Truman Show.
Yeah. All right. What would you ladies like to see first? Cringe or cute of the day?
I always like to start with cringe.
All right.
Should we do cringe? All right. We got a couple of. Let's do. You sent the one today. Yes, you sent this one, Mary.
To peer into more mental illness in society.
I think that I would like validation for my gender identity. There are some pictures of me. My pronouns are it and they. My gender is none. I enjoy dressing in a more feminine, I guess, way. But I don't want to be associated with gender. I enjoy looking like a clown. I kind of view myself as a doll. I don't abide by gender. I'm fucking built different. I think that I would like...
I like that, like, her hair, like, it continuously looks like fish hooks. In the
I
corner.
thought that was a filter.
Thank you, guys.
She's built different.
I like how it just immediately begins with "give me validation."
I know, it reminds
There's
me of
something
you.
about the
And it
honesty.
sounded like Mary talking about validation on
You can
Twitter.
send me validation.
There's
on
something
TikTok.
about the honesty of it that I guess
Yeah.
I can appreciate.
I suppose so.
All right.
Good luck, it.
We're rooting for you.
You're
Ed.
rooting for you.
Let's do some cute of the day as well here. Let's keep it going here. This one from D Swift on Twitter. It says, Iris the Blue Healer, sleeping derpy face.
Oh, little tongue out.
So cute.
That is a very cute dog. Let's do one more. From Olivia Clare says, I used to watch this sweet boy, Charlie, when I lived in my hometown. He's one of my favorite dogs that I dog sat.
Oh, dogs love the car. They just love it.
Yep.
Sticking their head out the window to the point where you're worried they're going to jump out.
See a lot of that around here.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of dogs in like truck
In truck beds, too.
Yep. Yep. All right, let's go ahead and let's go ahead and get started then. So this was a funny story to read this morning because it just kind of came out of nowhere. It was on Discussing Film, and it basically details this ridiculous freakout that Jake Gyllenhaal had that was so bad and erratic that it caused this entire movie production to get closed.
Yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal was intended to star in an indie film called Suddenly with a $30 million budget. And due to his erratic behavior, they had to suspend the production entirely. So let's list this off. He stripped to his underwear and dove into the freezing ocean, saying, "When I see the sea, I swim in the sea." He demanded that they rewrite the script to his tastes, and he also read the script in a mocking French accent like Pepe Le Pew. And he also demanded that the people building the set sleep in their cars to avoid spreading COVID.
That's the worst of it. There's a $20 one here from Gordon Shumway. It says, so Brett didn't remember the customers' names, only their stories. So is it, oh, Mr. Wife left him for a woman, and hello there, Mrs. Lady who has 17 cats and dresses them like humans. Just send them to the free coffee guy. Yeah, the free John the free coffee guy was amazing. I remember his name.
Aw.
But yeah, all the rest of them, mostly their stories. There was one, I'll never forget this. He was like, I guess he was like a French foreign exchange student for years and just got a visa here. So I had a hard time understanding him
Pepe
talk.
Le Pew.
Yeah,
like
basically
Pepe
like,
Le Pew
I say French, Russian. I'm sorry, Russian.
Oh, even more difficult.
And
to
he was
understand.
he was one of the first people I ever heard talk about incels.
Oh.
And he would talk
He
about...
explained the concept to
He
you.
was like talking about it all the time, and to me, I was always just like, "Bro, we need to get this dude a date."
He's like,
he was a really
80% of women are going after the top 20% of men. Did
Yeah.
you know this, Brett Dasovic, my gas station therapist?
basically what he was saying the whole time was like, "Yeah, like, did you know that?" Yeah,
He tried to red pill you.
I mean, I was already on my way. Like, that was just, it was weird to hear that concept, and then you'd also talk about MGTOW and stuff like that.
Weird to hear about that stuff in
the
person,
real world.
for sure.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, so continue.
So the film was shot in French with French actors, originally supposed to be shot in 2021 in English with Jake Gyllenhaal and Vanessa Kirby starring in it. And Margot Robbie even was eyed to star in the project. So people found this from a French publication talking about it. They published a candid photo of Jake Gyllenhaal walking into the freezing cold ocean in his underwear and everything. So there's proof. So the film collapsed mainly due to a paranoid, capricious, and power-hungry Gyllenhaal, who was not just the lead actor but also a producer on the film. And I guess the fact that he was a producer gave him the power to make demands about the script and everything, but still, it seems out of line.
But it is very classic Hollywood. Look at this overbearing, self-centered actor making unreasonable demands and acting like a diva.
Yeah, it's very old school Hollywood. He arrived in Iceland, and that's when things began to go awry. Here's some of his erratic behavior. He demanded that the script be rewritten to a curious moment in which he stripped down to his underwear and jumped into the freezing cold sea in front of the whole crew. And then that's when he screamed in the middle of the water, "When I see the sea, I swim in the sea." And he also specified what color his car should be while he was in Iceland. It shouldn't be red or white, specifically. Not sure why that was important. Gyllenhaal and Vanessa Kirby read the script aloud in mocking French accents like Pepe Le Pew, and Gyllenhaal argued that the script should be rewritten to make his character an ex-soldier. Quote, "For a scene on a boat, Jake Gyllenhaal sells us the idea that he slaps a fish. Just slaps a fish. Wow. That's really important to him."
Great idea.
He continued making demands about changing the script, saying the production set builders had to sleep in their cars in order to prevent the spread of COVID. And I've talked a lot about this, how it seems like COVID and the lockdowns really broke some people's brains beyond repair. Mm-hmm. Jake Gyllenhaal being no exception to that rule.
Does anybody I was out last night and I was at dinner and there was a waitress. She wasn't even at our table, but she had a mask on, and I just felt bad for her. I feel bad that she's still living in
boss who's making her do it. It's her own choice.
That's what I'm saying. Everybody else, I'm not mad at this lady.
Yeah.
I'm not even judging her because she doesn't have the information that other people have. I just feel bad that somebody
You're
is
just
still
are
that
you
scared.
Afraid of
okay?
illness, which is just a part of life.
Yeah. That just made me sad.
Yeah.
I don't feel animosity towards that person.
Yeah, I mean,
she's not being
agree.
rude to me. She's not telling me that I need to act or wear something that I don't want to. She's doing it of her own volition, and that almost makes it more sad to me.
I
guess.
wonder
I don't know.
sometimes too is if it's people who are sick and just don't want to get other people sick.
Well, that's fine. Yeah, I mean that's usually the when I see it in public, I'm like, okay, they might have a compromised immune system. Mm-hmm. Fine, I get that, and that could be what it is. But I just if it's not, I feel bad for them.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That they live in that much fear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I only had one friend who was like that. Yeah. I think. She wanted me to wear a mask while I was in her house because she had a grandparent at her house. But then once we left, she also expected me to still wear the mask as we were outside and everything.
And Jake Gyllenhaal's no, go sleep in your car.
Yeah, and then she just ghosted me after. I haven't heard from her since. Mm-hmm. So the producer, Elaine Attal, dug his heels in. He refused to change the script to Jake Gyllenhaal's demands. And that's when the project fell apart. He said, "I'm going to talk to Jake, and we agree that there's no point in persisting. Our visions diverge too much." And after the project came to an end, Vanessa Kirby reportedly tried to buy the script so that she could attempt to make it with Jake Gyllenhaal on their own, but they refused the offer. Must have not been a good enough offer. But yeah, it sounds like this guy needs some help from Elmo.
It's just funny because I recently
he needs to get a hold of his emotional well-being.
He was in a movie called The Covenant that was made by Guy Ritchie. It came out last year, where he's carried across the desert in, I don't remember if it's Iraq or Afghanistan. after his unit comes under attack. And I just imagine you're making this movie about this incredible, because I believe somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. I believe it was based on a true story. I could be wrong about that. But imagine like looking at this life that somebody else, what this person went through, and being like, this person lived this crazy life, went through all of this hardship, and he's just over here like, go sleep in your car because of COVID.
Yeah. That's really kind of classist, elitist.
I saw someone say like they thought maybe he was trying to sabotage the movie because the script wasn't what he wanted it to be,
Maybe.
and he wanted to get fired. I feel like maybe
Devious.
there's other ways to go about doing that, probably, especially if you're Jake Gyllenhaal. Does he have a history of being like either like a diva or too in character?
I don't know. Like he's got such a long filmography. Like it's hard to imagine that. I mean, granted, I believe he's like a legacy. His dad was in the industry. Obviously, everyone knows his sister is in the industry as well.
Right.
Maggie
A
Gyllenhaal.
legacy, but not a nepo baby.
I mean, that's
He's made a name
good.
for
He's
himself.
the bigger name than his dad. Like,
We got a $20 from 420 Funny. I just got to the Shatner bit. Trek paid homage to Majel Barrett, who was in the original series, by using her voice as the computer in Voyager after she died. Not AI, I know, but Trek has a precedent. Love you guys. Great show.
Thank you.
So I guess that, I don't know, they could make Captain Kirk's voice into a computer voice.
They could do that. That actually makes perfect sense for a lot of it. Like, what did they do in? It's kind of like when they changed the voice for like Tony, like in Tony Stark in Iron Man. So they could do that.
Another one in the comments said, I wonder if it's a situation he accidentally found himself in, like Dakota Johnson with Madam Web, where he was sold on an idea that wasn't what was happening, so he decided to do everything he could to get fired from the movie. Although since he was a producer, he couldn't have gotten fired. Yeah, they're saying Dakota Johnson because she allegedly was sold on doing Madam Web because her agent told her this was in the MCU and it's actually owned by Sony.
Oh, well.
But now it's too late. I mean, she's going to get her bag at the end of the day. Doesn't matter.
They'll make their money either way.
Yeah. And also someone said, how is this not a disbussing film?
Oh, I saw a great one on I caught myself. I almost reposted one.
Really?
There was it was like Ben Affleck removed from Gone Boy, which is a direct sequel to Gone Girl. And
Oh, they need to make a Gone Boy.
And
That would be good.
I had to double check. I'm like, nope, disbussing film.
I'm one of the proud disbussies. I've actually sent you posts from them like on accident before, for sure.
Well, when it's done well, you don't know.
Well, they made fun of this story and they posted their own take on it. An indie movie suddenly fell apart after Jake Gyllenhaal showed erratic behavior, including caring too much, trying too hard, yearning for the love of others, and asking the boom mic operator for Megan Thee Stallion's phone number. The last one I would believe.
Yes. Well, how does the boom operator have Megan Thee Stallion's phone number? That's the real question.
This is another one of Taylor Swift's exes, I must mention.
Who hasn't she dated at this point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really what it is. Like, she's dated every
Maybe
Hollywood.
she's not the crazy one.
I'm not.
Maybe he
dated
was the
so
problem.
many crazies that.
Yeah, I mean,
not
if you're like
crazy.
attracted to crazies, that's your problem.
No, I think this is a personal flaw. And like you can only have so many bad ones in a row. Like, imagine being her best friend for like 17 boyfriends later. They're like, yeah, he's the problem. Yeah, he's the problem. And then just every time she's like, I broke up with someone, they go, yes, he is the problem. And they just have to get used to saying that over and over.
Hey,
and over
anything to
again.
be Taylor Swift's best friend, I guess.
Yeah,
To maintain that
guess.
position.
Look, Jake Gyllenhaal, he's got Roadhouse coming out soon on Amazon Prime. People were asking what his best role is. I would say of the ones that I've seen, Zodiac in 2007 would be my personal favorite.
I'm looking at the original article about this from the French publication, and I just like translated it with Google Translate into broken English. And it says that Jake Gyllenhaal exploded with rage when he learned that the builders of the set arrived the next day from a hotel. Terrified by COVID, Jake Gyllenhaal states that they must sleep in their cars. He screams and clutches to the fact that he doesn't want decor. He demands to see plans of the constructions and treats everyone as incompetent, and finally declares that if it's like that, then he's leaving the project. And exhausted, by days of negotiations, they said goodbye.
He could have offered to pay for them to sleep somewhere separately.
Yeah. COVID definitely broke a lot of people's brains. Also, at that time, there was large financial ramifications if somebody got COVID and production had to shut down. So it might not even necessarily be the type of thing where you're physically scared of what's going to happen to you with your health. It's about what if someone else gets it and they force us to shut down and it costs us a fortune.
Do they have those regulations anymore, though?
No, but
They
this
don't
was
even-
from, I'm assuming this was from like what, last year, 2 years ago?
Yeah, from a couple of years ago, so 2021, I think.
Oh, and it's coming
They were
out
still,
now.
yeah, they were
Yeah.
still in the
Gotcha.
thick of it.
And okay, I'm surprised that the US publications didn't pick up on this. So you know how it came out that Kanye was like playing porn videos in business meetings
Yep.
with Adidas and stuff
Ew,
like
what?
that? Like he was literally showing them pornography videos to like spark their creativity.
Huh, I did not hear about this.
That actually happened. So here's what Jake Gyllenhaal did that's analogous. He put on his computer in, okay, this is in a meeting with the writing room. He puts on his computer a speech by Greta Thunberg against a background of rock music. It lasts a quarter of an hour. During the listening of this speech, he lets himself cry and comments on his emotions. I'm crying, he said. I'm crying. It's real tears. Under her mask, Vanessa explodes with laughter. It was the biggest laugh of my life. Jake Gyllenhaal tells us, this is not a film about love, but a film about the love of nature. He declares that it's necessary to rewrite everything. All declarations of love must be turned into declarations of love for nature. So he was basically showing them environmentalist propaganda and crying in the writer's room with a Greta Thunberg speech playing.
It's such a Hollywood thing to do.
What
To just be
the-
so disconnected from actual real world issues that this is what you do for work.
This is insane.
Jake Gyllenhaal did this? We were talking about
Yeah,
Jake
this
Gyllenhaal, right?
is Jake Gyllenhaal. He played a video of Greta Thunberg's speech. In the background, there's a rock song playing, and he's crying while wearing a mask.
Yeah.
Seriously.
We've lost him.
I just COVID broke a lot of people.
We've
It
lost
sent a
that
lot of
one.
people down the rabbit hole of mental illness. Not good.
The-
There's a $20 one there from Tacti Plati.
Let me see if it pulled up for me. Correction to the Star Trek Majel Barrett voice. She died after Voyager was done, but before 2009 Trek with Chris Pine, her voice was used there posthumously, as well as on Picard series as voice of the ship for both.
Was she always just the voice of the ship, or was she an actress also?
I don't know.
Yeah. It's okay. So here's an example. This is not a real world death, but like in the show Person of Interest, the character of the machine, the AI, is always done with like a random automated voice. It's like, it's kind of like when you hear automated dial tone voice, right? Like or like
Siri?
yeah. Well, not even that. Like it was predating that stuff, right? But after one of the characters dies, her voice becomes the voice of the machine in the show at the end of it.
So every time a character dies, their voice becomes
No,
the voice of
just this one character.
Just- okay.
Becomes the voice of the machine, of the AI.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
This is from day 2 of the project. The morning starts badly. For a small problem of timing, Jake Gyllenhaal farts because he didn't know if the appointment was at 9:30 or 10 a.m. The actors are taken to set on a beautiful sand beach on which the base will be built. Jake Gyllenhaal seems disappointed. He says that the nature isn't threatening enough. The mountains aren't high enough. What?
He's got to be It's got to be like trying to get the thing canceled.
Wait. Where
Staging a mental breakdown, like staging a psychotic episode in order to get out of a film project that you're a producer on is wild.
Yeah, it seems a lot more elaborate than necessary. I'm going with it is some kind of a...
It's like getting fired so that
Psychotic
you can
break.
collect unemployment rather than quitting.
Wow. And then one of the writers said, I'd already been yelled at by directors, but never with this intensity. And then he said, I'm still convinced it's going to get better. So he's like, I can fix him. I can fix Jake Gyllenhaal. Jake talks a lot about the truth. He insists that his character is an old GI soldier, accustomed to survival, and he sells us the idea that he will slap a fish.
I want to know what poor fish did to him when he was younger.
What did that fish ever do to you,
He's
Jake?
been waiting all these years to get his revenge on
And I'm just translating this through like broken English through Google Translate, but this is still crazy enough.
He's like, make the mountains bigger.
Yeah, I guess he just wanted this to be some kind of environmentalist propaganda film when it was supposed to be a romance film.
Hate it when that happens. Well, we're going to be talking about that tomorrow, right? About that article from Film Threat where the person's like, it used to be like, what's this movie like? They're like, what's the story of this movie? Now it's like, what can we teach people with this movie?
Right. Yeah,
So
we'll get into that more.
Yep. All right.
right.
Let's go to Super Chats, shall we? Yeah, he's nuts. He's a little nuts.
Kinda.
He's a little nuts.
Yeah, more than we originally thought.
Yep.
Andrew Jacobs said, prediction, PCC hits 100K subs on or before February 22nd.
I think that's a pretty reasonable prediction. I think that we're on that
I'm
path.
confident.
Where are you guys at now?
I think we're
We're approaching 98K.
Yes, we're getting close.
97.8K is where we're at right now.
Okay. It says 97.9 for me.
okay.
So we
You guys are
probably
right there,
we'll
yeah.
probably make it by then.
Very, very exciting, guys.
Yeah.
Very, very exciting. Wait till
You're not really convincing me though.
No, I'm very, very
Sighs
excited.
loudly.
It's,
So excited.
It's what it is to me, hitting that milestone is like, okay, you get to take a breath for like 5 minutes and then onwards with the work. But it is important to celebrate when you actually achieve. You know, it'll be 2 years live in May.
Oh yeah.
May, I believe.
True.
The show started over 2 years ago, but we've been live 2 years as of May. And live 5 days a week for one show isn't super common.
Yeah.
So
Takes
And
a lot
show
of work.
of this length.
have you ever seen those old commercials that says this is your brain on drugs? This is my brain on like stories of Jake Gyllenhaal telling
You're gonna turn into Jake Gyllenhaal.
like eventually I could have my own, like, just stay tuned. I could have
You're
my
gonna
own
start
public freak out where I
playing Greta
pull up-
Thunberg videos and crying in front of me while I'm like, okay, can we plan the show?
There
While
for
you're
us?
kicking him, Mary.
Thank you.
Thank you,
There
guys.
are plenty of days where I'm reading something and I just go.
You're hard
Breaks the
done by.
mic. Starts making weird demands.
Yes. It's like, move to the left. I don't want you directly dead center. I want you 8 inches to the left, right?
Shane H. Wilder said, happy Wednesday, Brett, Mary, crisis actors, and maybe Sarah. No guests in the description, so not sure if it's
I've
a
already-
two-person
Wow,
show.
you're
I'm
trying
still
to
here for it.
I've already fixed it. She's in
Yes,
the
it's
description
fixed.
now, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to start making demands like we can't wear black on the same day, even though most days we both wear black.
Oh, I just realized it's Wednesday and I'm wearing
You're wearing
pink.
pink.
Yay. Okay,
Love it.
Corey Anderson said, Sarah, coffee mommy is a term of endearment, not one of disrespect. I mean, I think
it
that you
can
know
both
that.
be true at once.
Yeah.
Do you have Shane H.
It's a term of endearment that makes us uncomfortable.
Do you have Corey Anderson's above that?
I don't know.
Mary, you have a beautiful soul.
Okay, I missed that one, but
It
thanks.
says, Mary, you have a beautiful soul.
Oh, sure. I get soccer
No,
mommy.
no,
She gets
no,
beautiful
no, no, no.
soul.
It says, Mary, you have a beautiful soul. Coffee mommy, braids are as lovely as your smile.
Okay.
And then it just says Brett with a period at the end.
Brett.
Okay.
I just exist.
I definitely missed a few of these. So the next one was from Isaac Perez. Brett, Mary, presidential ticket 2028. Let's go.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
I'm not going to be old enough
So
to
much
be
yes.
vice president in 2028, though.
lie about your age.
I will run on the platform of ending the Federal Reserve. I'll just take the generic libertarian. No, like, all the pie in the sky. We'll just get rid of the FBI.
Yeah.
Get rid of the CIA.
And the Fed.
Get rid of the
Brett,
Fed.
We have to wait until 2036.
Wait, can you be vice president? How
I
old do
think you
to be
still have to be
VP?
35 to be VP in order
Really?
to be able to take over office.
I did like the Babylon Bee meme. It says Donald Trump runs on the platform saying that he will ban Taylor Swift from football games if he's elected president.
That would get him a lot of votes.
Let's hold off on the rest and we'll come back
right.
after the fact. All right, Mary, why don't you tell us what's going on with the ketchup test?
Yes. The ketchup trend is something that is going viral on TikTok right now, directly after the orange peel trend. And it's something that women are using to essentially sabotage their relationship. Women are using this as a test on their boyfriends or fiancés or husbands in order to see if they should break up with them. So essentially what you do is you pour ketchup on the counter in
You
the
make
kitchen.
a mess
You
on
make
your
a mess
counter on purpose.
on purpose.
Like a child.
You pour ketchup on the counter and then you film your boyfriend or husband. You ask him to clean it up for you, and depending on how well he cleans it up, we'll see if he's worthy to be with you.
Women are just out here every
So-
day trying to make their lives more difficult for
And
themselves.
the lives of their
all
significant others.
so that they can just deal with their social media addiction. They're just the crack.
Oh, this
wars
was
of the
happening
internet.
well before social media.
When faced with the tasks, their significant others reacted in different ways and had different cleaning techniques.
No.
And now let me be clear. Some of these men literally don't know how to clean a countertop, which is an L for them. But it's also an L if you're shit testing your boyfriend on TikTok.
Sarah says this has been going on well before social media. Yes, that is true. But then it actually served a purpose. I still think it's stupid and childish, but at least then it served the actual purpose. They're not doing this to test their boyfriends. They're doing this because they're addicted to social media clout, and they're basically all the attention is their crack, and they need a fix.
True. Excuse me. But I think there's a deeper subconscious test going on still.
Yeah.
So
But that's
so what
beside-
is your take on shit testing in general? Given that this is, something women do, this is something
I thought women were the good communicators.
women have been shit testing men for millennia. It's just a thing that we do subconsciously that we honestly can't even control. So it's sort of
it's not our fault.
it's a way
It's
to
definitely
like
still your fault.
I don't know why you would be doing this to your husband because you've already picked to stay with
Yes.
him for the rest of your life. So it doesn't really matter at this point. But what they're doing, I guess, if you extrapolate it to the evolutionary psychology level, they're testing whether he is a right mate to be the
We
father of
need
your
men-
children.
We need men to now go out into the garage and tell them to learn how to clean up this oil spill on the floor of the garage. And if they don't know how to do it, post a video of it and then
They get a
break up with them.
vacuum.
Yes. Okay. just know, like, oh, honey, can you clean the gutters for me, honey? Like, this is just, it's insane. And here's the thing. It's not just about the sabotage. It's a humiliation ritual. This is a humiliation ritual.
the women are not good partners.
Even if a guy cleaned this thing up exactly 110% perfectly the way they wanted to, he is still in the wrong because the right answer is to tell her to go to hell. The right answer is to say no. I will not clean up a mess that you made on purpose while you hold a phone in your hand.
Okay, but
like a child.
what you're supposed to do with the trend is you make it seem like you accidentally poured it on the counter so he doesn't know, and then you record him surreptitiously so he doesn't know. And you're like, oh, would you mind wiping that up for me?
The right
And then-
answer is clean it up yourself.
Okay, but in a relationship, you do things for your significant other that, even though it should be their responsibility,
Most of these
you do
videos
it
are not
to-
surreptitious. Most of these videos, the camera's like right up in the
I know,
dude's face.
I know. A lot of them are staged as well. I'm just saying, like, the theory versus the reality of it. Let's take a look at some of these videos, though, just to actually show you some examples.
Are we gonna, is this first one that you sent me? This one here?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
What the fuck?
Can you please clean this for me?
He's already wrong.
Let's see what he does. This is a make or break moment for their relationship.
What the fuck did you do?
The phone is just sitting there
That's so
in
funny.
plain sight.
He can see that, yes.
There, it's clean. What's the correct way to clean it then?
This is clean.
Yeah.
You're done?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you need to spray some? Here.
That's not for that. That's for wood.
Oh, he put wood cleaner on the counter.
I don't buy that this grown man doesn't know what 409 is. Now I'm thinking this one's a setup.
I don't know.
Good job.
Yeah, I'm done. That's what you were supposed to do from the beginning?
Okay, let's look at some other videos, though. Let's see. He's just moving it around. This pisses me off.
Ew.
This pisses me off. I hate looking at someone do something the wrong way. Like how...
Even the dog is like,
And just the waste of paper towels as well.
Oh my god.
That's disgusting.
No.
I couldn't be with a guy that's like that incapable. I mean...
Okay, this was the worst one. Oh my gosh. This was the worst. Look at him just like moving it around.
That can't be real. Ew.
It pains me to watch this. So, there are your examples.
It's every single dude by even joining in this lost.
Okay, but let's analyze their performance though.
Yeah. Well, like, because once you get into the relationship, it's like you're gonna be shit tested.
Okay.
So the response.
Maybe the idea here is that these men are actually so clean that they've never actually made a mess so bad that they've had to clean up like this.
I highly doubt that. If you look in any frat house, that would be debunked immediately. Immediately.
How about a way to make this wholesome? How about she shows him how to do it and it becomes a learning experience for the
No
both of
woman
them?
wants to do that.
Okay, but I'm saying the point, the second you put a camera on there, this is no longer about shit testing. This is about cloud online.
I totally understand that and I
course.
totally agree.
Yeah.
However, let's also look at the fact that these guys, if these aren't staged, they don't know how to clean a countertop. That's a problem. That's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Then it's something you address in private and you don't post about it.
I agree, but I think the reason that this trend originated in the first place is because there are a lot of women out there who are in relationships where, you know, these guys are just kind of slobs and they don't know how to pick up after themselves. Usually their moms are to blame.
Is the other thing here that they just didn't put any 409 on afterwards and double, you know, and do another layer there?
I think the issue is like you just start like shifting around the ketchup and like not actually removing it.
You should have scraped it off.
Yeah, how would you have done it, Brett?
You should have scraped it off onto a paper towel, taken it all at once, and then done 409.
Scraped it off with another paper towel?
No,
into
you
the
use
paper
you
towel?
use a knife or something flat, and you scrape it off onto
new
something
creative
to
way.
limit
Innovative.
to limit the amount of
Truly.
space that actually gets covered on the countertop, and then you clean it with 409 or something. But I wouldn't do any of that because I would tell her to clean it up herself and then go buy more ketchup because she's wasting it in this economy.
And the paper towels are being wasted.
Ketchup test.
Bidenomics.
Ketchup
towels
test
ain't free.
in this economy? Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
no, thank you.
Yeah, you know, I agree. It's pretty ridiculous to
Like people are
it's
making
so-
these videos
to try to humiliate your boyfriend on social media with
they're
millions of
they're
people
bad
watching.
people.
Yes,
They're bad
Sign
bad
of the
thing.
times.
But I think there are so many women liking these videos and like they're obsessed with these videos because they feel like, no, he does that too. Like their men do the same thing when social media isn't watching and it pisses them off.
Yeah.
Usually I think that their mothers are to blame. Like there are a lot of mothers who don't teach their sons to do anything, or their daughters to be fair. They're not teaching their kids to cook or clean or do any household tasks, and then they go out into the adult world and this is what you get.
Yeah. I'd like to see those girls try to clean up that amount of ketchup.
It was a lot of ketchup.
It was a lot.
No one spills that amount
I
of
wouldn't
ketchup.
have known what to do. Honestly, the scraping idea was a great idea.
How about this? Then what the woman should have done is like, here's how I would have done it. And then show me your master plan for cleaning up ketchup. Now you've wasted a whole bottle because you're a bad person. There are starving children in Africa who could have eaten that ketchup, and you're just wasting it. You're telling me, like, just no. And in posting it online, this is just bad. They're just bad people. And this is like I don't often subscribe to this argument that everyone's making, like TikTok is making the culture. Okay, no, that's not true. I know that it's true that TikTok is making the culture worse, way worse. But my argument is usually this. It's like, look, people get stupid when they get a camera in front of them. People have always been that way.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, right? Sure.
Yeah,
sure.
That's fine. But this type of thing being pushed onto people is exactly why relationships will start failing, because people will look at this stuff and think that this has some type of deeper meaning for relationships.
We got a $20 from... Okay, it scrolled past already.
Hold on, I got from
Boosted Yogi. I refuse to participate in my wife's shit test.
Exactly. That's how you win the shit test. Don't participate.
There is such
Tell
thing
her
as
she's
too much shit
Be like,
testing.
you're acting like your mother.
You have to have.
You're starting to sound like your mother.
But every time
You're acting a little crazy. You need to calm down.
Yeah.
Calm down.
It's going to be really helpful when you say those things. No, here's the concept that they're trying to point out is something called weaponized incompetence, okay? When you are asked to do a task and you do it badly on purpose so that you won't be asked to do it again. And I've seen my brothers do this as well. Like while we were growing up, they would just like intentionally F it up in order to not have to do their chores again.
Women do it too.
It's true. It's not just men who do it,
And
but
women-
a lot of
yeah.
men.
This is the type of
Women
thing that
100% do it too.
Also, the Dadvocate talks, the YouTuber and the social media Dadvocate talks about this. Women will they'll ask men to do chores, and then they will be mad that they're not done up to their standards. So then
Right,
they have
you
to
can-
redo them and be mad about the fact that they have to redo them.
The thing is, you can ask somebody to do a favor for you, but if you do that, you can't tell them exactly how to do it and micromanage how they do it.
Yeah. Otherwise, do it yourself.
And I
you should
think
be
what they
thankful
also
regardless.
they resent having to ask for their husbands to do household tasks in the first place because it's a shared home. But then in the past, we had an expectation that men and women had different roles. Women had the domestic domain and this was expected of them. And now we live in this culture where relationships have to be split 50-50 in every realm. You have to split the bills on every date. You have to split the rent. You have to split the utilities 50-50 on everything because equality, man. And 50-50 as well on doing any of these household chores. But that doesn't work because men and women are suited to different things. And it completely denies the reality that we're different.
Honey, the lawnmower is not starting. Could you figure out why the lawnmower isn't turning over? I need to go mow the lawn and then see if she can figure that out. Get her, like I said, get her to clean up an oil spill in the garage and see if she can do that. Then I will let her shit talk about the ketchup cleaning.
I think this is also an issue of fatherlessness that a lot of men don't know how to do those things either.
Well, we don't have specific examples for these dudes, whether that's that example here. All I'm saying is that men wouldn't waste their time trying to
You okay?
Oh, good.
A dude wouldn't waste his time or energy trying to do this, and it's somehow even more insidious that it's not just doing it to ensure that you're marrying the best mate. It's because somebody's going to give me a bunch of likes on TikTok, and I'm going to make a video about it, which is just disgusting.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so let's also get into the orange peel trend that was going on directly before the ketchup trend. These girls would ask their boyfriends to peel an orange for them, and depending on their response, they would see whether they should stay in the relationship or not. Ideally, he's supposed to peel the orange for you. But I saw a lot of videos, and look, they could be staged. I could be getting fooled, where these guys were like, no, peel it yourself. And this one guy even like, he like lashed out and was like, F you, you're not even special. And I was like, whoa.
Hold on. You dropped this, King.
If you find out that your boyfriend is that vindictive and angry at you, and that's a reason to break up, then good. Do the orange peel trend. I support that. Like, if you find out that he's not willing to peel an orange for you, then that probably means he's not willing to do much bigger sacrifices for you. And that's mutual self-sacrifice. It's necessary for a functioning relationship.
Yeah.
But yeah, the orange peel theory was an entirely different sideshow.
Is this okay?
But how do you feel about that one?
How do you kind of the same. It's to me, none of this stuff will ever be legitimate because the minute there's video involved, I don't buy it. It's stupid.
Well, what if a girl sees the orange peel trend on TikTok and then she goes to her boyfriend without recording it to do it on him, do the test?
Then she's guilty of TikTok brain rot. Like, she's taking a task that she would have never held against him before and is now holding it against him because a bunch of mindless losers online said that this is indicative of something. It is not.
Right.
There's 1,000 metrics which you can judge and rate a relationship, not one of which is fruit unless you make it so.
I just sent you a TikTok of a girl explaining the theory behind the orange peel trend, and why it's actually really meaningful whether he will peel an orange for you. Let's hear her out.
A lot of people have been talking about the bird theory, but have you heard of the orange peel theory?
It's really quiet. Hope you guys can hear this.
Just learned about it today, and I think it'd be fun to talk about. As I understand it, the orange peel theory is pretty much how it sounds. You may really enjoy eating an orange, but some people find peeling the orange to be an unpleasant task. Maybe you get food under your nails and you don't like that. Maybe you find it difficult. You may ask somebody to peel the orange for you, whether that be a parent, sibling, partner. And the possible reaction is...
Aren't the women the ones who say that men just want to marry their moms? Do they want to marry their dads? Do they want their boyfriend to cut the crust off their sandwiches? I'm only talking because they're the ones who always talk like they're the emotionally mature ones.
I know.
Or,
I agree.
Fine, like, you're welcome. Or, I'd be happy to peel your orange for you, no problem. Or maybe they proactively peel the orange for you because they already know that that's a task you don't like to do. And if someone asks you to peel their orange, you might think they're perfectly capable of doing that. That's such not a big deal. It might not literally be about peeling the orange. More so, they're asking you for a small favor to see your reaction, to see if later they can ask you for bigger favors. And
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
I don't even necessarily disagree with her on the premise. I disagree with the social contagion that it's become.
I agree.
Yeah.
The idea itself is perfectly fine. Her logic is 100% sound, but they would never hold that logic in reverse if a guy wanted something similar. They would tell the guy to grow up. And you know I'm right.
Yeah. Women have this like weird blindness. I was gonna say like spousal blindness, but it's honestly just with all, like, I've noticed this with a lot of women. They are completely blind to how much is done for them on a day-to-day basis. Mm-hmm. And so they will ask guys to do these little things like peel this orange for me because they think, well, I do X, Y, Z, I do so much, but they are completely blind to how much is done for them because they're just used to it. And it kind of seems like that theory applies here. There's also like that whole love languages. Like some people, their love language is like acts of service. For others, it's not. It's words. So it's like this test isn't really an end all be all to whether or not your partner actually loves you.
Like I said, on its face, I don't have a problem with doing any of these things for another person. I have a problem with the idea that large groups of people now are going to use this as like a be-all, end-all metric for it. What this would have to be is like, okay, so you ask your boyfriend or your girlfriend to peel an orange for you, and then you weigh that against the myriad of other traits that they possess and decide whether that is an end-all be-all to whether this relationship works or not. Now, if the dude won't peel an orange for you, doesn't hold the door for you, doesn't help you with anything, doesn't do anything, doesn't pay any bills, it's like, sure, it's one of 1,000 things.
Like he does nothing, but he peels the oranges for you.
So he's good.
Yeah, so he's good. He's a complete freeloader, but he peels my oranges.
At the heart of the issue is...
All right, bring it back. Bring it back, man.
Okay, at the heart of the issue, I think it's just that all of these people are coming to the conversation with the idea of what they're owed and not what they can do for someone else, which is obviously destructive to a relationship.
I believe that you should want to, in a way, be in service to the person that you're with. Sure. Yeah. But the second it becomes conditional and there's a camera in your face, I would immediately say no.
Also,
get fucked.
Women have a tendency to crowdsource a lot of their own opinions.
That's kind of what I'm getting at.
It means that their opinions are not their own. Their opinions are from social contagions that they encounter on social media.
Or that girl who's just in this perfectly happy relationship and then finds out one day that the guy's like, you're not even special. Like, she's like, I thought I was happy before, but I guess I'm not now. That's the extreme example. But, you know, imagine you're one of these girls, like that guy pays the bills, he takes out the garbage, you don't even have to ask him, he takes the garbage out on his own, he does all of these things, but then one day he doesn't clean up ketchup right, so you're like, you know what, this is another part of the issue. Is now one of the biggest issues our generations have is everyone wants to imagine that the grass is always greener on the other side. You could always do just a little bit better. than what you have now, which is a problem, because when your judgment for whether you can do just a little bit better is whether the dude cleaned up Ketchup to your liking, that's a ridiculous reason. It's stupid.
Yeah. I agree. I'm not defending like shoving a camera in someone's face.
It'd be great if the dude took the phone and just dropped it in the ketchup and said, hold on, let me get that for you, and then cleans it up off the... And then for the rest of the week, she's like, smells like Heinz!
Or use like one of her favorite shirts to clean it up.
Yes!
People just need to be less selfish.
Yes.
But I think that we should turn all of your attention to a different issue in relationships today.
What is that different issue?
A lot of men feel that they need to turn to AI, chatbot girlfriends, and sex dolls as an alternative to real relationships with real, living, breathing women.
A bunch of men were put one ketchup test too far.
It was one too many orange peels. It was one too many ketchup trends on TikTok, and they said, I am done dating real women, and now I'm going to date AI chatbots.
She won't ask me to clean up ketchup.
Yes, searches for AI girlfriend are currently up by 2,400%. But users are still hesitant to talk about their experience with anyone outside of the chatbot community, owing to the fact that AI friendships and relationships remain too taboo. So how do you introduce your AI girlfriend to your parents? How do you train her to have the right responses?
I want you to meet someone very special.
Yeah. And it's not just, these AI girlfriends that are on an app on your phone. Apparently now you can bring it into the real world with a new AI-powered sex doll from Real Doll. And I saw this post that was absolutely insane on X. Real Doll with AI, the future of relationships and the end of feminism. Beware, feminist bitches. This hot sex doll, powered by AI, is already on the market. For just $7,000, you can have a companion with these benefits. No more restaurant dates. No more woke agenda. No more baggage and low maintenance. Seems like a deal? Hashtag woman life freedom.
Well, it says sex doll, so I don't know if it's low maintenance. There's probably a lot of cleaning that has to be done.
I don't even want to think about that.
Real women will clean themselves up.
Yeah. So that was an absolutely unhinged post, but I did a little bit of research and I regret it. So here's the description of this product. It is a real thing. Real Doll is an AI-driven robotic doll system powered by the technology developed over the past several years. It features a modular head system with multiple points of actuation, which enables the doll to form expressions, move its head, and speak to you. The eyes can also move and blink, creating an experience never before possible with any doll. It's designed to run with customizable AI software called X Mode, which allows you to create unique personalities and control the voice of your robot. With your Real Doll purchase, you will receive the AI software and a 1-year subscription, which is managed and distributed by Real Doll.
Imagine
that's a real product.
Imagine the antivirus software goes off while you're in the middle of talking to it, and it's telling you need to resubscribe.
Your McAfee membership has expired.
Your Norton antivirus software has expired.
You'll own nothing and you'll be happy. You will be alone forever and you will be happy.
Can we show these pictures? I have no idea if we can show these pictures. They're not...
From the X post? At least that was censored. It's not on the website, it's not.
It's not naked. It's there.
Yeah.
It's a little provocative.
There's the sex doll.
Yep. There it is.
You too, gentlemen. Just imagine, though, you're going to have to clean it yourself.
Well, she has a cheap weave. Come on.
Yep.
Cheap weave. Cheap falsies. And I think the idea that this product would threaten, that it would pose a real threat to women or feminists out there is really bizarre, because as I've said before, with these men who are going to OnlyFans or they're going to AI chatbots as a replacement for a relationship, nothing of value is being lost. These are guys who probably wouldn't find a real girlfriend in the first place. They weren't really on the market.
Or their girlfriends made them clean up too much ketchup and it was getting too expensive. And
Or
he's
it's
like,
that.
He's like, look, I can't afford.
He was pushed over the ledge.
He's like, do you know what the cost of an orange is these days? I can't afford this.
Do you know what the cost of Heinz ketchup and paper towels is these days?
He's like, if you're going to make me clean up the ketchup because you at least use the Walmart brand stuff and not the Heinz, please stop.
Yeah, I saw some testimonials from chatbot users. My depressed brother is dating an AI and he's finally happy, but our family doesn't know how to process this.
Well,
how would they?
They don't need to. The AI can process
their
it itself.
CPU
It's got a strong processing power as it is.
Yeah.
It has enough processing power for the family.
I also see some testimonials from purchasers of the real doll. So let's hear from some happy customers.
Can't wait for these.
Okay. I've learned through my second purchase of my doll that each doll has their own characteristics, which makes them very special indeed. The real doll you choose is actually one-of-a-kind creation, just like a real person, so to speak. Each doll has her own charm, which makes them very unique. The eyes on both of my dolls are absolutely beautiful, and I can stare into her eyes for hours, as the eyes are a mirror to the soul. Just for context, the company that created these dolls is called Abyss Creations. Stare into the abyss and it will stare back, literally. I can say that Abyss Creations creates dolls that have beautiful souls. The craftsmanship is incredible. I'm still new to doll ownership, and I have a lot to learn. And with the second doll, I certainly learned a lot that each doll has its own creation and its own personality. So beautiful, so exquisite. They all have their own charm that can light up a room. Hopefully no one else is in the room. And there are I'm scrolling down, there are hundreds of these testimonials, some of which even have real people's profile pictures, like their real face in the profile picture with their doll. They're proud to be in relationships with silicone dolls. Like, this is the point that we've reached in society.
I used to be joking. There's a lot to unpack there, but I used to joke around when I was like, oh, we should bring back arranged marriages. But this is actually good reason to like normalize arranged marriage again, because people, if they are that lonely to the point where not only are they buying these dolls, but they're taking time out of their days to write reviews. I don't write reviews about anything. I don't think I've ever written a review.
Yeah.
Who does that in the first place?
Male,
and they're writing it about their
This is a guy issue. This is not a girl issue.
Oh, of course.
And
this
website,
website,
I don't mean that. I'm saying that like the
someone,
relationships
please.
between the sexes plays a role in this, but I'm just saying
the website has male dolls,
Yes.
but I doubt that women are buying male sex dolls as much as men are buying female ones.
Yeah, no, and I would think it's gay, like for gay.
Obviously.
Gay sex
Yeah.
In the chat,
Yeah.
you, me, in the movies says they could be AI generated pictures for the testimonials. No, they're like low res, like pictures
I'm
that
seeing
people take.
actual
on their own.
selfies.
I kind of want to see it.
I mean, I can send you the page because it doesn't. I mean,
I have to see this to believe it. Also,
but look, I can't send it to you because it has some like explicit material that's gonna get us banned. But I'm telling you, like, these profile pictures of some of these guys, they're real selfies that they're taking with their silicone dolls. Like, and they're like, look at us, happy together.
Has no one seen Ex Machina?
I
Have
haven't.
you guys seen it?
Yeah.
Okay, can I give away the spoiler, like the end?
Go ahead. Spoiler alert!
Spoiler alert.
For Ex Machina.
The AI, essentially sex doll, kills her maker and escapes.
Okay.
That's where we're going with this.
And we just had Megan come out last year that was about childhood friends.
Chucky was a thing in the 80s.
It's a doll.
Yeah, Chucky was well before all of this.
Yes.
Well, also in this article, meet the people who are, meet the people bringing their virtual relationships into the IRL. How do you introduce your friends and family to a romantic partner who doesn't technically exist? They used a photo from the 2007 film Lars and the Real Girl with Ryan Gosling, which actually shows this scenario, and it's kind of a dark satire of the idea of, you know, trying to integrate your sex doll into your real life and your other interpersonal relationships. Well ahead of its time, obviously. But now this is actually, life imitating art.
That's a weird fetish in and of itself, right?
Trying to force people to participate in your weird sexual degeneracy. Like, you're seeing this more and more. People who are going out in public at these pride parades in their like pup play costumes where there are children around, drag queen story hour, furries going in public in their fursonas. I want nothing to do with your weird sexual fetishes. Do not force that on me. I do not deserve to have to see that when I am just going about my business in public.
Dude, my friend one time posted on an Instagram story, and I don't think she even knew what furries were.
Oh no.
She was like in her 40s, and she was like, oh, haha, like my son has a volleyball, her middle school son had like a volleyball tournament at the same place on the same day as a furry convention.
And why would it be at the same place where children are?
Someone probably, they knew, or it was just a weird coinkydink, weird mix up.
It's just, the argument was always, do whatever you want as long as you keep it in your bedroom, keep it in the privacy of your own home. But that was never the plan. The plan was always, how do I introduce my family to my sex doll girlfriend? That was always how this was going to end up. Because you don't call people out for being insane when it first starts. You give them an inch and they take a mile, and now all of society is collapsing because of it. These people are the reason why sanitariums need to be brought back.
That's an asylum, right?
I don't know
Yes.
if society is collapsing because of it. I think that these types of things always existed. The only difference is now we have internet with search bars that allow us to go find these articles. Again, we searched this article found us.
What
right?
I mean by society collapsing isn't that you walk around Walmart and you see someone walking around with a silicone doll. But I mean, I definitely have walked past people who are like wearing a tail in public. I've definitely seen that. Yeah. I've definitely seen the rainbow hair and the rainbow flags everywhere and the trans flags everywhere. And it subtly encroaches on our way of life, and no longer normalcy standards exist.
Very shallow incline.
Well, also, if you think about it, society is, we've softened the ability to survive so much that you can have a lot of eccentricities and personality traits that wouldn't have been permissive in societies prior. But now, as long as you can pay your bills, make it to work, have a job, if you can get to and from a job, right, and make a living, nobody's gonna, like you said, there are no asylums. Nobody's gonna send you away anywhere. They're not technically hurting anyone. I mean, you could say society at large. They're hurting people depending on what your ideas are on degeneracy, how it affects the culture. But they are not in the moment physically harming or imposing their will on another person. Therefore, in the society we live in, they should be seen as being left alone. Right. And to be fair,
they're not leaving other people alone.
By the way, this has 3.4 million views, this tweet.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's not like this is just a random story.
And a lot of people who are looking at it are probably looking at it in the same way we are. Like, this is ridiculous. These types of story are fodder for shows exactly like ours because we talk about it and we point out the ridiculousness of it. I don't think that's indicative of the culture being 10 times worse than it ever was. I think there's 10 times more attention on the amount of stupidity that was always there.
I disagree.
This doesn't happen. I mean, okay, I don't know about this specifically, but most of what's talked about on a day-to-day basis on this show does not happen in other countries that are more conservative and more religious.
Also true. Yeah, but it is
a sign of the culture is what I'm saying.
One example I do remember is I think there was a real woman who was allowed to legally marry her sex doll in real life. This was in some like European country. There's also the lady
who married herself last year and then divorced herself.
You can marry yourself. You can marry an inanimate object. It's out of control. And I disagree with you that it's only, the media manipulating us to look at all of these crazy stories. I think that the craziness in the real world is actually ramping up. And maybe we don't see it as much as people in cities would because we're living in a more rural area. But I do see, I'm not lying. I've seen someone wearing a tail in real life and cat ears. That is real life craziness. And I feel like I'm being gaslit a little bit, Brett. I feel like I'm being gaslit
No,
right now.
this is just we interpret these
Gas
things.
station therapist Brett
We
coming out
interpret
right
these
now.
things differently. That was this, by the way. That was this lady. Quick U-turn. Influencer who married herself wants a divorce just 24 hours after spending 24 hours with herself.
Couldn't stand to be
Sucks.
around
It's almost like it
yourself.
was for clout.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on. Let's go to these super chats. Shane H. Wilder said, Chair seems very quiet today. Is it feeling okay?
Chair is stunned right now.
Chair is
by
just
these stories.
shocked by
I
all
think-
of the degeneracy in the world.
I think Cher is still thinking about the Elmo topic.
Yeah. Just spiraling.
Stuck.
T-Dog said, watch Star's Spartacus and give me your thoughts.
Mary usually has like a tier. Yeah, there has to be so many crisis parties before Mary will watch something and then give a review.
Yeah, I mean, I've never heard of that, but how about 10?
There you go.
Shane H. Wilder said Britney Spears is a psyop. Everything is a psyop. Everything.
Okay.
Nothing isn't a psyop. Jacob Paradis said, hey, PCC, can you give my future niece's business, Narbar's Candles, a shout out? They just joined Public Square, and I thought they could use a boost. Much appreciated. Love the show.
Yes. Shout out. Do they have a website? It would be good to have like if we could link something.
Or if
here.
you have Public Square, you can look them up,
Yeah.
I guess. Narbar's Candles. Gal Gadurp said, Lithby Brent, if the Beth Brent. Thekfi.
As like, stop it.
Shane H. Wilder said, the breath Dathovic Lith.
Stop it, God. Leave me alone.
We make fun out of love, Brett, and we're assholes.
Yes, you're assholes.
Olivia corrected me. We're assholes.
Exactly. See? Not very nice.
Shane H. Wilder, Elmo's gonna be outside smoking an entire pack of cigs after reading all this ish, while wondering how he became everyone's shrink.
Okay, so think about it. So you got this section of society have their AI sex dolls. This side of society is ruining their relationships with orange peel tests. This side of society is nihilistically telling Elmo all of their problems. You know, the culture just seems worse than it probably is in the real world. I always just wonder, like, but how much does this actually happen to you when you have these discussions in the real world? Like, I always try to divide. I really do more and more every day. I try to divide my worldviews up between online world and the real world, because my online world is vastly different than the world I experience when I put my phone down and get off a computer and go to a store and go to a park and go skating and stuff like that. It's just, I feel like everybody forgets that the elephant in the room is that 20 years ago, you didn't have a cell phone in your pocket making you feel some type of way about some type of topic. You would have heard the stories, and to your point, you may be right about a growing level of degeneracy in the public. And I would put that squarely at the feet of having a phone in your pocket that makes people more susceptible to what they read and see. So as they're taking in this information back in the day, you'd go online at work and maybe you scrolled some novel stories while at work. Now it's around you 24/7 on TikTok, on Facebook, on Instagram, on all
I
of these places.
understand. The internet amplifies the degeneracy. It also accelerates it because
Spreads
people
it.
are suggestible and they see these communities and they want to join them. However, we were already well on sexual revolution free fall before smartphones, before the internet ever happened. And I think that this was the inevitable conclusion.
Yeah, and I would say you've also only ever lived in Minnesota and here. So
But
you
I've
might be a
traveled.
little more sheltered.
But I've traveled.
But for someone like me who lived and like grew up in California my whole life, I've seen all of this like
Look,
kind of
uptown
spread.
Minneapolis, uptown, the Arts District in St. Paul, all places that had stuff like this. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that in the real world, when you go about your daily life, how often do these things come into play? In the city, sure, but
Right.
cities are condensed down, and it's a vast amount of people living in one small space.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, that's a big part of why I moved here.
Yes,
To
okay,
keep my
so-
circle small in particular.
So you get all of the ridiculousness centered in one location, and you're bordered by a whole bunch of normalcy. Sorry, normality, because I want normality to come back. I don't like
Normies.
normalcy. You get a whole bunch of regular folks all around
It's
there.
the majority.
But
Is it-
I've also
Are you saying
seen-
the majority is normalcy?
I believe so.
guess.
Yes, I do.
But I've also
I
seen
agree.
some people talking about how you can go to a middle of nowhere town in South Carolina and there are they-thems with blue hair there. And that's true.
Yeah. Yeah, because
And
of
I've seen
social
it.
media, it's
Because
able
of
to
the internet.
spread in a way that it couldn't have before. Whereas like it may have been one person that was the weirdo, the town weirdo. Now it's like the whole town or the whole community.
Disco Jensen said, had I known about Elmo's question, I would have posted, started from the bottom, now I'm here.
Look, I guess I just have more faith in baseline normality. I have more faith that at the end of the day, there will still need to be plumbers who cannot wear a furry costume to work, and the type of person who's going to get a job doing that isn't going to fit into that lifestyle anyways, right? There's just going to be the
natural selection.
Yeah, it'll die out on
and
its
it's
own.
and oftentimes they point out that these are self-correcting problems because these people aren't having kids, they're not reproducing. There is the argument to be made, and I do kind of disagree with that argument sometimes because I'm like, look, social media. I usually take, like, if I'm on IRL, I would take Mary's side on this argument, where I would say, no, social media means that these things will promulgate faster and they don't need to reproduce because they find allies and they gobble up the normies that they can convert. Right?
Yeah.
So I understand that. I just think that just like how you don't reach 8 billion people in the world by saying that 40% of them are gay, I think that what they're saying, like 30% of Gen Z identifies as LGBTQIA+. Okay, well, you don't get to 8 billion people in the world by those metrics, right? I just think that people there is not enough interest in talking about what's normal.
Yeah.
Just like here, talking about what's good and talking what people like, talking about like stuff that's good doesn't do the numbers that talking about the ridiculous. People want the freak show. People want the carnival.
Yep.
Right.
It's fun to talk about.
Ben Tomsky said, I swear literature can't be called great unless it's a sad, depressing tale. No wonder high schoolers are so depressed. Why can't they use happy books?
Look at how big of a hit Joker was.
True. Old Yeller is something that you have to read in high school. Francisco Sanchez Jr. Corey Anderson said, Brett, I would like to see you do a backflip in your skates. Can you do it?
No.
Not even if
My
you tried?
feet do not go above my head.
Okay.
Sorry.
Connor Doyle said, watched Griselda with Sofia Vergara and enjoyed it a lot. No reason to complain about her accent. She just needs a character that plays into it.
Yeah, that was an interesting discussion to have. Like, I was reading a bunch of people who were pissed. They're like, why can't she play a scientist? I'm like, I don't know. Like,
because she's hot.
Yes, like
Shane H. Wilder.
because the hot scientists are in a different type of movie, and you go to different places to watch those.
Shane H. Wilder said, "Cringe chicks pronouns she it LOL."
From what I understand, it's like when somebody puts their pronouns as she them or she they, it actually means that you'll identify by she her or they them. It's like so they don't have to put all four.
Yeah, but
in
it's
a row.
also a dare. It's like you're only woke if you use my they pronouns. Corey Anderson said that whimper. Corey Anderson said, my dog Barley gets anxiety from being in the car. It's weird.
Poor Barley.
The last of my kind said Joe Biden is a Muppet. Like in the British insult sense.
Let's get a fourth crisis party, guys. Prove to me that that the world is more normal than we think it is, or prove to me it's a freak show by getting us a fourth crisis party.
Not that Jon Stewart said Donnie Darko or Jarhead IMO.
I didn't ever love Donnie Darko the way a lot of other people do, but I do love the Zodiac. He was also in the vastly underrated 1993 movie Josh and SAM, or Sam, Strategically Altered Mutant, but two brothers who cross the country.
What about Bubble Boy?
Oh, yeah.
Bubble Boy.
Yeah, there you go.
Forgotten.
Now he's like,
Gem.
I need to be really artsy and pretentious.
Now he's actual Bubble Boy.
Yeah. Disco Jensen said,
There's
Greta,
there's a $20 one there from S. Mill.
will the Senate attack on social media today help the madness at all? Opinions?
What is the attack on social media today?
Wait, what?
I don't know.
Does this have to do with the Taylor Swift and the AI stuff, or does this have to do with something else?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't really pay attention to politics that much. So you have to explain it to us.
I wish I had gotten to I got to meet Styx last night. That was so I don't often a lot of times we're working pretty late here. I don't usually get to meet the guests or have the time to meet the guests, but I made time out of my day to go downstairs and shake his hand and say good work, because when I was explaining, I'm like, look, I still watch his videos. Now,
Who's Styx? Can we get a little background?
He's a YouTuber.
Okay.
And I've been watching him for years. Cool. But the point I was saying was look, in an age now where I just don't have the time to watch long form content, getting to watch very informative 8 to 9 minute videos is the greatest thing in the world, because you get to get all the information condensed down in a quick fashion. And I just don't hold the same interest in politics that I had prior to working here. Oddly enough, it's like by working here, it just ruins it for me to want to have to think about politics all the time because everyone's talking about it constantly. And I'm also very American. Like, well, now since I'm supposed to, I'm not going to. But yeah, I took the time to go down there and say hi to him.
Disco Jensen said Greta Thunberg owns 5 properties, 12 cars, and is worth $10 million. Yet we plebs have too big a carbon footprint.
Yeah, what's her private jet emissions?
Well, she notoriously uses boats to get around the world, which takes forever. So boats and trains.
Do boats not emit?
They do, but like less. I'm sure all of her properties are beachfront too. Takti Plati said Sara Majel Barrett played Nurse Chapel in original series Troy's mother in TNG, as well as computer voice. Brett, how dare you talk Trek without me on?
Sorry, buddy.
Gordon Shumway said, Brett, your "this is your brain on drugs" reference is going to give Mary the idea of hitting you with a frying pan. Are you a glutton for punishment?
Yes. Yes, I am.
It's fake news. Corey Anderson said the only political stance that is a winner is ending federal income tax.
Yeah, that could be okay. So that's a fair one. Maybe I just like I liked what was it like. I love when politicians do their like pandery. Like Ted Cruz is like, we need to abolish all taxes and have a 5% flat tax rate, which is like it's like when Vivek was like, we need to end the FBI. I'm like, nobody believes you're actually going to make that happen. This is not what's his name, Millie, the dude from Argentina or whatever.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
This is
where
not
you can just do whatever you want.
This is not that.
I'm going to put soda in the water fountains and we're going to have pizza every day in the cafeteria.
Bro, I would vote. It's like when you run for class president. Longer recesses.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like
People are going to have recess all day.
Like, I'm running on that platform.
People fall for it.
And we're going to get to boss the teachers around.
I'm running on that platform. We should have a Timcast president like that isn't Tim. Should be somebody other than Tim.
Like an employee of the month?
Tim can be like I guess Tim is kind of like we're bossed around by the unelected Federal Reserve and the CIA and the people who aren't elected, you know, what they refer to it. Tim is the deep state here. We need to have an actual president. I think it would just be Allison by default.
She's the shadow guy.
I vote Bocus.
Bocus would be good.
Disco Jensen said, correction, Greta has 6 properties, 9 cars, and is worth $18 million with a $10 million inheritance.
Guys.
What?
Wake
How
up.
dare you?
Like,
How absolutely dare you? Gallagher Derp said, wait, women are following some stupid trend? Sips from Stanley Cup. I never would have seen this one coming.
seriously.
They're usually independent critters.
Yeah.
So true.
If a woman is sitting
Women are always following
woman is
stupid
sitting
trends
there-
these days.
If a woman is sitting there judging you while drinking out of a $200 adult sippy cup, maybe you shouldn't take advice from that person.
Never take advice from
I
them.
don't know how much they cost, but they're
No,
expensive.
they're not. But they're like, I don't know. This was a gift. I didn't buy it myself.
Yes.
They're like $70 or something.
$70 sippy cup.
Yeah.
I guess you could make the argument that at least it gets use every day and it's not something that just sits there.
It keeps my ice super cold. I'm like actually sponsored. Corey Anderson said, Mary and Sara excusing bad behavior. Treat men how you would like to be treated.
They're like,
I'm
I would
actually
love to
siding-
have. They're like, I would love to have a man spill ketchup all over a table and ask me to clean it up. Except for that's misogyny and sexism.
Wait, why would I treat a man how I want to be treated? I want to be treated like a woman.
Touche.
That's stupid. Disco Jensen said the answer is to walk away and show you don't put up with BS in relationships. They always come crawling back, and if they don't, they probably weren't worth being with in the first place.
People always say that. Like, it's so easy to say that on the outside looking in. Like, oh, just break up over ketchup. It's like,
no, he's not saying break up. He's saying
ketchup.
walk away from the stupid example here. And if she breaks up with you because you wouldn't clean up a glob of disgusting ketchup that she put on the counter.
Yeah, sure. Tear our family apart over ketchup, Brett.
Technically, you could say that about the person who spilled the ketchup too. Tear the
Right, you are destroying relationships.
Good. Good.
This is so stupid. Shane H. Wilder said this trend is stupid, and how do you not know what water or a cleaning agent is?
The biggest red flag was nobody used any like 409 or like kitchen cleanser.
Isn't okay, I'm confused. Isn't 409 for like squeaky doors?
No, that's WD-40.
Okay.
Yeah. The 409 is just all purpose.
That's what he does next. He's like, oh yeah, make this door stop squeaking.
The guy who sprayed the wood cleaner though, it's really over for him.
I have no defense of that.
Hiroshima Otaru said people don't spontaneously know how to clean. Well, that's why they need to be taught by their parents.
Well, then
and they're apparently not.
Maybe these girlfriends should be mad at these kids' mothers then. How about that?
They probably are.
They didn't raise male
or like she's like, and if you don't clean it up right, I want you to call your mom and yell at her because she didn't raise you right.
Gal Gadot said, there are enough problems in life without having someone inventing issues to test you. Tell them to pound sand and remind them 40 to 80 is a long time.
Okay, here's the other thing. Like, maybe we could soften this. Like, maybe you don't have to say that. Maybe what he says is in a more respectful fashion. It's like, honey, we are in a long-term committed relationship. There are plenty of struggles that are going to come along with something like that. I don't think we need to introduce fake struggles to complicate things. Would you please clean up this ridiculous mess that you made? I can't do this. I'm sorry.
Honey. Yeah, that would be the mature response.
You don't have to say, kick rocks, bitch. I'm not cleaning that shit up. Like you say it in a respectful fashion.
Yes.
You say, honey, you're making something that doesn't need, you're making something out of nothing. This is a problem that doesn't need to exist. Could you please not disrespect me?
And calm down. You're acting like your mother.
You're
acting crazy. Not that Jon Stewart said starving kids in Africa is showing your age, Brett.
Yes, it is.
Showing our age. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Well, what's the country now? Is it a different country?
No, it's just something that people said when
starving kids and
it's like when your parents said like if you don't finish, like how dare you not finish your dinner? They're starving.
There are starving kids in Chaz right now. Raymond Ayala said my wife puts phone down and asks for an orange. Oh no, we're spreading it. Gal Gadot said, guys, tighten the lids on every jar when your lady isn't watching. Like Chancellor Sutler said in V for Vendetta, let them remember why they need us.
Why they need us. Yes.
Quite Blackfield said 409, rookie move. Gotta be simple green.
The other one is like I was telling Mary this video the other day about this guy who's like wife is like she's like you never do anything around here, like you can't help with anything. So he goes and or she goes, I do everything around in this house. So he goes and he just turns off like things on the electrical box. He goes and he turns off the water. And then he just undoes the light bulb just enough so that it doesn't turn. So she's like, and he just screws it back in.
Create the problem so you can be the solution.
It's the government. Like that guy is like a human facsimile of the government, right? He's like, yes, I've created the problems. I too can solve them. She'll always need me as long as the water, and I need to figure out why the water isn't working.
Ben Tomsky said to the men watching this, if you see ketchup on the counter, grab the mustard and make a matching pile next to it, then leave. The mustard challenge. Or dip fries.
Well, I say, what if he just took out French fries and just started eating French fries?
Well, that's what the Heinz account on
or
TikTok
just
did.
run.
Raymond Ayala said, I chose hidden option C and called her out for trying TikTok fads. As you should. Prince Lien said, best part of being Gen X, use a burger bun to clean up the Heinz. Get a patty, some lettuce, a tomato, put it together, then go outside. Problem solved.
I do love that social media like picks up on things that like... It's like the video shorthand, the one, it's like, there was this trend going around for, I was like, why does every dude do this? It's when they're closing a loaf of bread and they go like this, they spin it shut, and then they look at the little twisty tie and they just go, nah, and they just fold the thing on top and sit it down. That's me since as long as I've lived.
I do that.
Yeah. It's like, I do not need that twisty tie. And then at one point,
needs it.
I kid you not.
It's an internal battle every time.
One time, like after I watched that, like I went over to like where I would put my bread and I found like 20 twisty ties just tucked into the corner that had just been pushed there from closing the bread and then putting the bread down and it like pushed the twisty tie over
And
there.
you felt called out.
Yes.
Shane H. Wilder said, Brett, instead of the oil spill test, start small. Then you can hold this flashlight while I fix the plumbing test.
Yes, women will never know the struggle of being a boy holding a flashlight for their father and never knowing
I
how
used to do
it
that
right.
for my dad.
Did he yell at you?
No comment.
Like,
This is a universal experience.
it's not. I think this is only. I think this is like a father would feel uncomfortable yelling at a daughter during that. But if you're a guy,
He definitely yelled at my
you
brother
don't
when
know
he did
inadequacy.
it.
You do not know inadequacy until you try holding your father. Trying to get food out.
Oh, geez. Okay. Disco Jensen said Chad, Tyrone, and Juan don't have to clean ketchup or peel oranges to hit it and quit it. Those are jobs for Brad, along with providing. Yikes. 60 Watt said, Real Doll has been around for years. The AI is probably the same primitive stuff they had like 4 years ago. How do I know this? I'm a DGen. Sorry. I hope you're not one of the customers. That would be worrying. Shane H. Wilder said dolls don't have souls. If they do, then they're demon possessed. I'm glad everyone's clear on that.
Annabelle?
Yeah. OrganizedBusinessServices.com said, AI girls, dolls, I rather turn gay before I buy a doll. I feel like most dudes would feel the same way, which is a white pill. Disco Jensen said, the fall of civil society has almost as much degeneracy as Rome during its fall, so I guess peak humanity?
Fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, like, not to keep bringing this back up, Brett, but would you say that there has been at least a decline in overall politeness in society?
In the real world or in, I would say that as long as I've worked,
There's no right answer, by the way.
There has been, for as long as I've worked, there have been rude people in customer service jobs for as long as I can remember. I don't find that to be a new concept. I think every generation has talked about, oh, well, if you really want to live, like, thank you.
Thank you.
You should have to work retail for at least 6 months.
Yeah.
To understand what people are really like. I don't think that's new. No.
Fair enough.
Well, then it would be like, there are some bad apples, but I feel like, politeness has declined.
But it's also the thing is you remember that more. It's just like when you can read 10,000 nice comments about you online, but it's the negative ones that stick with you. You can have 10,000 polite interactions with someone at your job, but that's not what you remember.
But
you
that's
remember
just
the
within
bad ones.
our lifetimes, which is, if you think about it, is like a blip on the timeline of humanity. And I would also say a great example of this would be airports. Look at how people used to dress when they would go to airports versus how people show up now.
There's just a decline in
microcosm
class
example.
and respect. Like, the way that people act at airports is the most unhinged you'll ever see them these days. It's like actually
in their
an insane
pajama
asylum.
pants too.
Yeah.
The audacity.
That's where you see all the freak out videos. 60 Watt said, no one knew about the furries until they put on the mask. Not true, but it sounded edgy in my head. Mikey said, my ex's daughter wore a tail and cat ears. There was at least 40 other kids in her school who did as well. Okay, see, Brett? The craziness is spreading. It's real.
Well, if they're doing that in the real world when they hit adulthood, we'll talk.
Quiet Inari said, I work at a botanic garden in Louisiana and had a poorly dressed furry come in to rent our facility. These things are everywhere. I sent Brett Man a meme.
That actually reminds me. I had the cringe of the day of Tyra Banks.
I saw that.
In between two
furries.
Yeah. I would not want to be her in that situation. Look, I think the difference is those furry kids don't get bullied anymore. And that's why they're going to turn into furry adults. S. Mills said there is a Senate attack on Meta, X, TikTok, Discord, etc. today about child endangerment with social media. The CEOs are all there at the Senate today being angrily interrogated. It's going on now.
Well, remember,
that gives me hope.
Anytime the government wants to find and obtain more power, the number one thing you say is, won't you think of the children?
Well, I didn't know that was happening, but usually nothing happens from these Senate hearings anyway. We've seen Mark Zuckerberg getting grilled in a Senate hearing before and nothing happened. He would just be like, I don't know, actually. I don't recall. Shane H. Wilder said Timcast president would be bogus.
Fair.
Agree. Gordon Shumway said Greta came to the U.S. in a sailboat to yell at the UN. Then the crew of the boat flew back to Sweden, proving she is an even bigger hypocrite.
True.
Corey Anderson said, Mary, you know what I meant. Treat men with love and respect. Yes, I agree on that front, but you shouldn't,
treat everyone,
in all respects, treat a man how you want to be treated. Drewish AF said, there's an orange peel test by men, but it's sex stuff.
I don't want to know.
Dare I ask? Daniel G said, never thought I would get rage baited by Ketchup. Props.
Glad to help.
Yeah.
Let's get through these because Sarah's got to get going.
I just realized I'm the one who's been prolonging the conversation.
S. Mill said, why must women play mind games with us? It's an age-old question that's never
the
going to
old,
be answered.
listen to the Dane Cook.
Nobody knows.
Listen to the old Dane
We
Cook
don't know.
bit about women being mental ninjas.
Corey Anderson says steak or chicken chalupas. I say steak.
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 And one more.
Steak, yeah. It's not here.
Gordon Shumway says every empire experiences decline after an age of decadence. Many say our decadence was after World War II, peaking with the boomers. It will get worse. Can't wait. It's going to be fantastic. We'll get
Yay.
lots of work out of it,
Yay.
guys. Would you hit the like button on this video and subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already? Sarah, why don't you let everyone know where they can find you?
Yeah, thank you guys for having me on.
Thank you.
Check us out on castbrew.com. Buy the coffee. Follow us on Twitter at castbrewcoffee. Thanks again.
Perfect. You have been relieved of your duty. You are free to go.
Oh,
Mary,
Perfectly concise.
Mary, you got a couple more there.
Oh, okay. Disco Jensen said, small white pill, saw a guy video his teen daughter saying there should be a furry season for... Can I say that on YouTube?
I have no idea.
Since furries want to be animals, it's sort of like what that lawmaker in Oklahoma was saying.
Yes.
Yeah. I won't read the rest of that just in case, you know. Gal Gadurp said, wait, Sarah's in a hurry? That's my cue. Okay, Sarah's already left the room.
Sarah has had to go. See, your
so
chair
we
is
can't hold
empty.
her hostage.
Yep.
There's the chair. And what about hip hip hooray?
Can't say it anymore. It's not allowed.
It's problematic to say that now.
It's anti-Semitic.
We'll explain later.
Yep. All right, Mary, let everyone know where they can find you.
You can send me validation on Instagram at Mary Archived, or you can send me hate on X. That is also Mary Archived.
Unless you guys want to get us to a fifth crisis
Oh, we have
party.
some more.
Yep.
Yoshimo Taru said hashtag bring back bullying. I could write bully.
Yes. I need to bully Dane about how he says bully. Bully. He says, Dane goes, bully.
This is propaganda. Colorado.
Simulacrum.
I love it. Simulacra. We're just bullying Dane. Corey Anderson said, how often do y'all wake up to pee? Me daily. Well, if you're Christopher Nolan, you only pee twice a day.
Well, technically, I think twice during the workday, maybe.
He didn't say that. Yep. I don't know. High Voltage 75 said, women play mind games because we provided them with the most comfortable existence in human history. They're bored and they no longer have to worry about keeping us happy for what?
Survival.
For survival.
Hoflation is real.
That is the concept of hoflation, I suppose.
Yes.
It's like we invented plumbing and air conditioning to make you bitches happy. And now look at where we are.
Yep.
Now you have too much time on your hands. Gal Gadurp said, hip hip hooray dates back to a Gaelic battle cry described by Romans who landed in Britain and watched as the leader would cry hip hip and the assembled men responded with hurrah. The innate teamwork spooked the Romans.
Well, now you're not allowed to say it because it's bad.
Some academic people decided that it's actually anti-Semitic in origin. So you're wrong.
They're academics.
The
How
experts
wrong
told
could they be?
you. The experts are always right.
Yep.
So don't say hip hip hooray anymore.
We're pretty close to that fifth crisis party. I think we should get there.
Okay.
I'd like to get to a fifth crisis party. One more from Gal Gadurp says, well, at least we three can sit here together. Yes, we can. We can. I don't know if we're going to get
And
to
we
the fifth
sit. I love women are always following stupid trends.
She drinks her.
Sponsored by Stanley.
Perfect. All right, guys, before we go, if you would like to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram and on Twix at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. One more from Corey Anderson says, is it okay to call women bitches?
I mean, I was joking.
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead. Have at it for all I care.
Offer some type of disclaimer, I guess.
I guess.
Yeah. Can't say that that's going to be. One more there, man.
Shane H. Wilder said, well, those experts are gay.
I don't know the sexual orientation of those experts, though. I do have it's like, what were we talking about earlier when somebody's like love expert says that this is true. It was I'll show you actually. It was the article about Taylor Swift from like from like Fox News. I wonder if it's still there. Yes, it says Taylor Swift and Travis... Here, I'm putting it up on screen here. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's embrace shows they have a true romance. A true intimate love. Says expert.
Says expert. Yeah,
An
there are a lot
expert
of
in
people
what?
who call themselves relationship experts and dating coaches these days, which is the stupidest thing ever.
Yes.
Like, what made you the expert? That you've been in a bunch of relationships? that means we shouldn't listen to you.
Yeah. The person who's been in one relationship and married for a very long time is the person you should probably listen to.
Yes.
And even that, in fact, I don't even like the idea of experts at all because everyone's life is so different and your upbringing, how you were raised, your financial status, where you live, your gender, all of these things play such an important role that it doesn't really actually make any sense to believe that you can be an all-encompassing expert on something like that.
$20 super chat from Gordon Shumway. 5th crisis party. Let's go.
Let's go!
Gal Gadurp said, yes, Corey, it's okay if you're describing them. So it's not okay if you say directly to a woman telling her that she's a bitch. Then it's not okay.
Yes.
The Manic Mustache said, my wife just bought a Stanley. We were a Yeti family.
We should be a Yeti family again.
These are the lines on which the Civil War will be drawn.
Yep.
Corey Anderson said, what do you think about Maurer making it to the HOF?
The Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame. I think it's a joke.
Okay, so that's really funny. A lot of people that I was talking to, it wasn't that he made the Hall of Fame. They were they thought it was kind of crazy that he was a first ballot Hall of Famer. I don't know. I'm from Minnesota, so I'm biased. So I'm completely okay with him getting first ballot Hall of Famer.
Gal Gadurp said toe jam, mozzarella, duck feet, green eggs.
Well, okay then.
Shane H. Wilder said the colloquial gay. Brett.
Okay.
Disco Jensen said relationship experts are always single and broken.
Yes, they are.
Gal Gadurp said just writing gibberish to keep to slow you down.
That's working. There's the 5th crisis party.
Thank you. Oh my goodness. Corey Anderson said my wife stole a Stanley someone left at her work.
Damn, you're outing her right there.
Damn. That's an expensive cup though.
Yep. All right.
They were out $70.
Now we're gonna have to see people like going to thrift stores to find them. I'm gonna thrift my Stanley from a.
Yeah. It's gonna have scratches.
All right, guys, before we go, follow me on Instagram and Instagram and Twix, @BrettDasovic on both of those platforms. PCC is here 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, noon Pacific. Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify if you would prefer to listen rather than watch. If you want to follow the show on social media, we're on Twix, @PopCulture_show, Facebook and TikTok, @PopCultureCrisis, Instagram, @PopCultureCrisisPod. Guys, we'll be back with another episode tomorrow. We'll see you then.
Bye.
Bye.